right, this is SFBarkast. I am Jeff Cleary.
I am Andrew Lauder.
And Andrew, where are we today?
We are at Edinburgh Castle.
And that is
on, what is it, Geary between...
like Polk and Larkin.
Polk, yeah, there we go.
What is the proper pronunciation for that? Because I've heard people call it Edinburgh, but is it like it's maybe one of those like Scottish words where it's just like you just trail off at the end, like Edinburgh.
Yeah, I think it's like it's based on the word borough, like like the borough of Queens or like Brooklyn or something like that. So I think it's Edinburgh, but like obviously in Scotland you're going to say Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. That is like one of the thickest accents I've ever come in contact with.
Oh, it's fucking
I'm like,
crazy.
They are speaking English, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I met this guy who was like right from Scotland, and he seemed to like me, and so he kind of like relaxed and just started talking the way he should talk. He regularly talks,
right?
And he just starts talking about like whatever. And like I just like let him go, and then when he stopped talking, I was like, "Hey man, I just gotta let you know, I didn't understand a fucking word you just said."
I think I understood you said the word "cunt" every couple seconds, but other than that,
right? Exactly.
Like,
I mean, I don't know. I thought maybe we were like friends and he liked me, but maybe he was like super mad at me because I couldn't understand what the fuck he was talking about.
Right. He's like, your mother's a good cunt.
It's just like, ooh, does that mean like you don't like her, or do you mean that you want to have a pint with her?
Like, saying my mother's vagina meets your approval, or
it was Adam Carolla who said that the English like really fucked up the word cunt because like they say it all the time.
Yeah.
So therefore, it doesn't carry any weight. But in America, we've saved that for like very special instances.
Buried it in the ground for 400 years to bring out like in the 20th century.
Right, like if you don't say that word with the frequency that you say it in England. Like you have to save that until you're really mad at like somebody.
Right. I remember being in Australia once and seeing a T-shirt that said, "I may be a cunt, but I'm not a fucking cunt."
A T-shirt.
And I thought, you know what a great conversation starter to wear to, I don't know, nursing home or.
Were you at a wedding?
A family wedding. Yeah. It's like, I sent you a suit to be best man. I don't know why you're wearing that shirt.
So yes, this is a Scottish bar. I couldn't name any other Scottish bars.
Oh, that's a good. I mean, it's possible that I guess the Mad Dog and the Fog had to be Irish, right? But like, I mean, there's no other that are as Scottish that I know of.
Yeah.
But I mean, this to me is an old classic. Like it's just it's always been here. It's in the Tenderloin. It's like it hasn't been gentrified at all. Like it's still. I mean, it's huge. It's really big.
Yeah, it's really big for a bar. Like in San Francisco, I've talked about this before about how like space is at a minimum.
Yeah.
And like to have a bar with like 2 floors here.
Yeah, like and totally high ceilings and like
right.
And it's a great layout because it just like I've never been to Scotland, but like I feel like like I feel like if I were in the middle of the Scottish countryside chasing like the Loch Ness Monster or something.
I don't feel like
I would come upon a house like this.
I don't even feel like we have to go to Scotland. All we have to do is like hang out here.
Yeah, it's just like Las Vegas. You don't have to go to Venice or Paris or any of those places. You just come here. And like,
just come here and wear a dress.
Right. Come here and drink until somebody sounds like they're not speaking English when they are, and you're there.
Also, like to illustrate how large this bar is. They have, like, that Scottish tradition of, like, taking telephone poles and flipping them over?
Yeah. Sort of the ultimate, like, God damn it, we're bored here, like, sport. It's like, what the fuck do we do? All we have is a telephone pole.
They actually have one of those here. And what is it called? You know it.
A caber? I think, like a C-A-B-E-R.
Caber tossing or cable tossing? And, what is the... Is that, like, one of those things where it's just like, look, I'm a big guy.
Right.
I'm going to flip this pole over.
It was either that or, I mean, like, I'm sure that there was probably, like, a sack of flour toss that was, like, I mean, they have, like, I think it's called the Highland Games, isn't it, where, like, that kind of shit happens.
Sounds like the Lowland Games
like
to me. Bam.
Take that, Scotland.
They're like, hey, you know what? It's raining. I'm in Scotland. I'm wearing a dress.
Right.
I'm picking up this fucking log and throwing it upside down.
It's like, I'm drunk out of my goddamn mind, and I'm gonna move this telephone pole down the street.
That like Scotland had this like kind of like 90s revival
Train spotting.
Yeah, well, they had Train Spotting. They had
Because
Braveheart.
I was just gonna say, like, if it wasn't for the movie Train Spotting, like, would we have even heard of Scotland in the last 40? I mean, like, basically Scotland would be like,
Okay, well, Braveheart.
Groundskeeper Willie.
Groundskeeper Willie.
Yeah, and Braveheart.
Braveheart, and this movie called Rob Roy, which was I know a lot of people will think that movie's great. It's fucking awful.
Is that the one where Liam Neeson has a very special set of skills and like?
Yeah, like his skill is that he gets to fuck Jessica Lange, and they're both wearing dresses.
Well, fantastic then.
But there's a great like moment. Now I love this bar, and I have nothing against the Scots. Okay, but one of my favorite parts of Train Spotting, which is like a great movie. I love Train Spotting.
Right.
Is they have this one friend who's trying to get them to go out and do like nature walks and shit.
Right.
And he's just like, he's like talking. All of his friends are like into heroin at this point. And he's like, "Come on, guys, let's go. Doesn't this make you feel great to be Scottish?" And Mark Renton, played by Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Right.
he goes, "Fuck, I hate being Scottish." And then, like, that like sends like the needle comes off the record, and everybody just goes stops, and he's like, "Fuck." He's like, the British are wankers, but at least they conquered us.
Nice. Like, there was a weird thing on the internet the other day that I saw that there was a guy like basically going over a map of the British Isles, and like he was doing like a pretty good version of every accent in the entire British Isles, and you get up into Scotland, and it's like there's like this noticeably different like accent between like Northern Scottish and Southern Scottish and stuff, and it's crazy. Like the Northern Scottish one is probably even more like unintelligible than the.
What is
than
Northern
the
Scotland? Is it just like a bunch of islands?
Like I think it's it's just super cold and damp. Like it's probably all like lochs and swamps and like it says like hardly farmable land and like just cold drunk people.
I remember reading. I remember meeting a guy who was from London, and he was explaining the entire dynamics of living on the British Isles, and he said basically the rule is the more northern you are, the tougher you are.
Makes
He's
sense.
like, so
Right.
if you're from London, or you're from Brighton,
Bristol, or
like you're like you're soft because like
Right,
you're in the south, and like the people in Manchester who are more northern than you, they beat up on the Londoners.
Right.
And he's like, but the Scots beat up on the Manchester
The people
guys.
from like Aberdeen can kill anybody with like.
I know, it was like, so by this reasoning, like the Eskimos and the Icelandic people are the toughest people on the planet.
That's right. Like the
And he was
Laplanders in Finland could like wipe out Europe if they ever like weren't freezing to death.
He's like, could be, sir.
That's right. Yeah, that all this sort of sound like just guarded racism, like in a way where it's like yeah, those people in the north, they're fucking crazy.
Well, you think about it, like a lot of people like to point out all the different like dialects and all the different accents we have in America, but there's like a bunch of like those same like dialects and accents in England, and it's such a smaller country.
Oh yeah.
Like just from like people, if you live there, you can be like, you listen to someone talk, you're like, oh, that guy's from fucking Liverpool,
Right.
and you're just like, and that guy's from Swindon, or
Right. Well, it's like what was it? Cornwall, which is like sort of like southwest.
Cornwall.
Cornwall. Like like Cornish was like a dead language for like 300 years or something like that, and it was this like, and they revived it.
They had their own
somehow.
language.
Yeah, and like there's like I guess and Welsh and like there's like little individual languages all over the damn place.
Wales is like it's like the Brooklyn of the British Isles.
It's like what Brooklyn was. Like, I mean, there's no hipsters there. It's just like, yeah.
I was at a comedy show in New York, and the comedian just said, he was like talking about the different boroughs, and he's like, can we all just agree that Brooklyn's the wimpiest, pussiest borough that we have? And everybody's just like, yeah.
Oh my
like,
God.
I mean, like, even like Manhattan.
Barbara Streisand.
Nobody in Manhattan that's going to step to you anymore.
Yeah,
I
if
assume.
they're even there. Like, it's like, it's all vacation homes at this point.
Right, exactly. It's like
Maybe Woody Allen will like take a swing at you.
This is Manhattan, okay? I live in the toughest NYU dorm there is in the city, okay?
I live in the badass part of the Upper West Side.
Exactly. Don't come around Columbia anytime any longer.
I think I owe you an apology, by the way.
You should.
Months ago, I came up with a brilliant idea. I said, like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you Airbnb-ing your an empty room in your apartment or something like that? Because you can make a fortune doing it. And like I read like this week that like they're like sweeping through Airbnb and like evicting everybody that like
people who do that.
Like,
yeah, you can get evicted for that.
Yeah. So like so don't ever take my advice about anything.
I still would like to do that. Like I mean I feel like.
I think it all depends on how absent your landlord is or how much of a prick they are.
There's nothing. I mean, I have my rental agreement. I mean, it's from like 18 years ago.
Right.
But the thing is, like, 18 years ago, they wouldn't have a provision about Airbnb.
Probably not.
I mean, I let Chris Tinkle and Chris Garcia stay in my place. They could probably kick me out for that.
But I think that it only becomes like a kick you outable offense. Like once you start making like good cash on it or something, it's like they don't care if you're like letting people stay there for free. But like as soon as you're like making a ton of money, they're like, I want to make a ton of money. Like
how would they
that's
know?
My place.
I mean, would you have? I guess you would have to like. They would check your taxes
on, like,
or something.
Well, I mean, they would. I mean, they probably just like look online and like see if their address is listed and like.
Dude, by the way, I did my taxes today because we're coming up on tax day, and like I was just like, you know what, my taxes are going to be super easy because I actually didn't have a job last year, no income to like declare,
no fuss, no muss.
It was so fucking difficult. Like
really?
if you have like a regular job and you're like, here's my W-2, and here's like you can fill everything out, but like because like I didn't have any income last year, like everybody like the TurboTax, which by the way, if we're not going to do plugs, we're going to do anti-plugs. TurboTax is the worst. You're actually like paying them to do like fucking nothing.
Right. Well, it's funny because like I think we did our taxes too, and both me and my wife like have the lowest or not lowest, but the highest taken out that you can. Like when we have like basically no deductions. Like so each paycheck they're taking out the maximum amount they can for taxes. Like
yeah. And so then you're gonna get a refund.
No, actually, like even doing that, we still owe like $6,000.
That's insane because you own a house, and everybody I talk to is like, if you buy a house, it's a huge tax.
It's a little bit, but like I mean, once once you start making like big giant baller money like I do.
By the way, okay.
But it's just like because we have no kids, we have no other deductions, like so it just winds up being ridiculous.
By the way, like I'm realizing I'm part of this podcast right now, and I'm realizing this is the most boring like conversation we can have. Like, oh yeah, let's talk more about your taxes.
Someone sees the episode title, they're like, Edinburgh Castle. Sure hope they talk about their tax returns.
There was a great joke on The Simpsons when Bill James, who was the sabermetrics guru for baseball, and like he
did a movie called Moneyball. I think.
Well, yeah, he basically took like baseball, and he quantified everything into like a math equation.
Right.
Well, he did like a walk on The Simpsons, and he says to Lisa, he's like, "Yeah, hi, I'm Bill James. I'm the guy that made baseball as much fun as doing your taxes," which is like a fucking classic joke.
Right.
Although I will say, like, so I spent all afternoon doing my taxes, right?
Yeah.
And then I went to a bar, and there was this very, very sexy, attractive woman there.
Right.
And I think just because I was doing my taxes, I just like had no interest in even like looking at her. There's something about like doing your taxes where it's like nobody gets done doing their taxes and just be like, "Hey, honey, want to fuck?"
Yeah, it's like, hey, I just finished taking care of all the deductions on Form 563. Like, how about a dick suck?
Exactly. I'll give you a tax deduction if you know what I mean. Like, no, it's
all right. It's like the biggest boner killer in the world.
And you know what? And I feel strong about that statement because I feel that there's probably never been a porno about somebody doing their taxes.
Well, there should be. I mean, like it's sad to see porn stars fall into the terrible trap of Red Fox and Willie Nelson, where like you're not paying your taxes.
Those guys are probably like, like I don't care about like taxes. I'm into like having sex and smoking pot.
Like somebody's taking care of that, right?
It's like the one thing that you can't do while have fun. There's no way if anybody can find a way to do your taxes and have fun, you'll make $1 million.
There we go, business people. I guess there was some event today where you could pitch your idea to like Google investors or whatever, like, and Like it was some stupid thing. I mean, like one of those like, ooh, you can pitch your dumb idea that you've already tried to pitch to all your friends to like some like venture capitalist, and they can tell you no. But and also I want to say before I forget, big R.I.P. to Mickey Rooney and comedian John Panette died this week as well.
First off, I feel bad that my reaction to Mickey Rooney was when they announced that he died. I was like, yeah, exactly. He was still alive.
Right.
And the other thing, like that comedian who died.
John Panette. Yeah,
I mean, how do you
another not really that unexpected.
But see, like, how do you feel about that? So this guy, like, half of his act is about how he's just like a big fat guy.
Yeah.
And he dies like at the age, like the very early age of 50.
Right.
And he, like, do we take any little responsibility for, like, basically being like, oh, those fat jokes about how you're never going to exercise and you really don't care about your health and all that stuff? It's like, do we have, I mean, like, well, you could say the same thing if it was like Kurt Cobain, where it's like all Kurt Cobain's songs were about being depressed and wanting to kill himself.
Right.
And then when he did, you're like, whoa, I didn't have anything to do with that. I just bought like 20 of his albums.
I just bought all of their albums and all of Joy Division's albums, and like for some reason, I'm attracted to music of people that kill themselves. But so R.I.P. both of those guys. Congratulations to UConn for winning both the women's and men's championships. You
know what? I was like, I was watching the men's championship with Sean Keane, and like he was telling me the only time it happens is when UConn wins both, because UConn's won like 4 men's championships in the last like something like 15 or 16 years. The UConn women's team has won like 8 championships.
Right.
In that time, so it's
and the only other like women's team that is like like a contender that is also like a men's contender is like maybe fucking Notre Dame or Tennessee or Duke.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah. Well, it's like I guess Tennessee's in a down season right now for women's basketball, but I actually watched the women's championship game because it was a undefeated team against an undefeated team, and it was the matchup that everybody wanted.
Right.
So therefore, and you know what, like but the thing is, it wasn't a good game because UConn like blew them out.
Right. Well, and they're girls. It wasn't a good game because they were all shooting from their hip.
You know what? It's not like. Well, now I'm going to sound really sexist. I was going to say that it's not like watching women's softball, though, because there are a lot of like very attractive women playing women's basketball.
Right. The funny thing is once every 10 years there seems to be an attractive softball player, and boy does she get a lot of run. It's
Jenny Finch.
Exactly. And Jenny Finch in any other walk of life is there's that kind of white trashy looking whatever.
I feel like I'm being I'm going to get shit for saying that.
I know, I'm
but
not
you know
sure
what?
Why we're on this topic.
I've watched a men's basketball with women, and they there's some guys that they're oh yeah, that guy's hot.
Right.
And so I do appreciate the game, but if there's a Candace
whatever her name is,
who's the basketball player who married Sheldon Williams? I think her last name was Williams as well.
Oh yeah,
she was really attractive.
Yeah,
she's adorable.
Right.
Or Skylar Diggins, she was really cute.
That guy with gigantism.
yeah, that
Sheldon, fisheye, that guy,
orca-looking guy, Sheldon Williams.
What an unfortunate-looking guy, but what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna marry this very attractive female basketball player.
All right. Well, back to Scotland, goddammit, or at least this bar.
Back to Scotland. I do actually really like this. My first impression of this bar is really good, and the bartender here has been really nice.
Although, go ahead. Sorry.
The bartender here has already been really nice to us. His name's Segundo.
Okay.
And although I have a little bit of initial complaint, is that the internet jukebox that they have here is just fucking worthless.
Yeah.
I put $5 in, and then I was like, hey, can you turn that on? And he's like, oh, it takes a while for the the songs to download.
Like, what do they have, like a
And then
dial-up?
like we heard like one song, and then
We had to sit here for like 20 minutes while like we heard the like the old like dial-up.
what is it,
modem.
like a dial-up thing? Yeah. But I mean, Segundo is being like a real sweetheart about it.
That's cool.
Oh wait.
Oh, is this your song's playing now?
Oh yeah. Here. Oh,
okay,
so
there we go.
now.
Like
Maybe
a
maybe
good,
it
like
is like
half
a
an hour later.
Maybe it is like a dial-up thing where you're just like.
Maybe it's like a delivery service where like you put in it's like Cosmo or like Urban Fetch where they like they'll bring the CDs to you in like 20 minutes to a half an hour.
Well, the other thing that I really am upset about, as far as, and this just has nothing to do with the bar,
Okay.
but like when I first got here, like I was like, okay, like it doesn't seem like anything's playing, so
Right.
I'll play like a really long song.
Okay.
So of course, if you're gonna go play like a really long song on a jukebox, where do you go to?
Led Zeppelin, Jane's Addiction.
B-Boy Bouillabaisse.
Oh, there we go. Even better.
Okay, so I go to like Paul's Boutique, the Beastie Boys, and I go to like play B-Boy Bouillabaisse, which is like a 20-minute song, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a
And-
mishmash of like 6 or 7 different songs, actually.
And on like whatever the version they have here,
Yeah.
they have it broken up into like 7
Ah,
songs.
boo.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, it's basically like the internet like jukebox community is like, we're on to you fucking idiots.
Like, I'm sure if you try to play like Inagata Davida, it's like Inagata Davida, part 1 of 6.
Exactly.
Like, what?
Would you like to hear the chorus of Inagata Davida, or would you
Well-
like to hear one of the verses?
Fuck them. I'm only playing like number 4 of 6, and it's just like 5 minutes of.
All right, so let's take a break,
Let's do that.
and we have our guest that's going to come on. We may actually have a second guest, like
Who knows?
like
You know, in the Tenderloin, all kinds of celebrities walk by all the time.
yeah, people should know that this like neighborhood is kind of. It's funny. I was like talking to the bartender, and like he
Right.
lives at like down like 24th and like Folsom, no, or like Harrison or something
Right,
like that.
right.
And he said like he's met girls in this bar, and he like tells them where they live, and they're like, "Oh, that's the Deep Mission. That's kind of like dangerous, isn't it?" I'm like, "You're at Gary and Polk. Okay,
Yeah.
there's like a methadone clinic right around the corner. Like, you're not safe right now in this bar." Okay.
Well, and then the other part of me thinks, at this point, like, there's almost no like really sketchy neighborhood in San Francisco anymore. I mean, like, there's places that are like, there's like junkies wandering around and stuff like that. But like, I don't know of any area like in San Francisco now where it's like, if I'm there at like 9 o'clock at night, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking die. Like that's true of like a lot of places in Oakland and like neighborhoods in New York and stuff like that. I mean, like there's a difference between like rich people bad neighborhoods and like actual bad neighborhoods for sure.
I feel like it used to be a little bit more pronounced, where it's like in San Francisco, you used to have to like have like some pretty like attuned street smarts.
Yeah.
But now, like, if you have like rudimentary street smarts
Right.
in San Francisco, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
unless-
usually, no matter what shitty quote unquote neighborhood you're in here, if you look around, you'll see other white people
Yeah.
wandering around
Well,
doing the same thing you are. Whereas, like, I mean, and I'm not. This isn't about race or anything like that. But I'm just saying that, like,
You made it about it.
Well, oh shit. Ooh, I fell into the oldest trap in the book. But no, I mean, like, you will at least see someone that looks like you wandering around doing the same thing you're doing.
I
And
mean-
like, what a real bad neighborhood is when you're there and you're like, I'm 40 blocks away from like the nearest person that will even like blink an eye if I get shot in the
Right.
head. Like,
Or if you like, yeah, I feel like you would have to do. I mean, I'm not being insensitive because I know people have been mugged in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
But like even like not recently, to be honest. I know people who had their their iPhone snatched. So if you're
Right.
using your iPhone, you're not paying attention. Like you should pay attention.
yeah, but you know what? That's true in Fresno or something too. I'm sure like there's so many people on like fucking meth and everything there. I would feel much more afraid walking down a street in suburban Fresno than I would here.
But like in order to get like mugged, like even in this bad neighborhood here, yeah, if you walked out of the Edinburgh Castle and you were like drunk and staggering and you were counting how many 20s you had like right out front, like yeah, you might get jumped.
God, I got a lot of untraceable money here.
Exactly. Oh my God, I'm not gonna remember any of this.
Nothing but small bills. I totally wouldn't know what to do if somebody jumped and took me right now.
All right, so this is SFBarkast. We're at Edinburgh Castle. We will be right back.
Wasting your day.
All right, and this is SFBarkast, and we are back at Edinburgh Castle.
Edinburgh Castle.
Edinburgh Castle.
Wow, that's terrible.
Well, that's my Scottish impression. It's just like, eh.
Is that like a drunk Indian or something?
Andrew,
Just
name one other Scottish movie besides Trainspotting.
Oh boy. Wait, was all I can think is Irish ones, like because.
That's just infuriating people right now.
Well, I mean, we already mentioned Braveheart, so I guess that's one. But that's not really an Irish movie.
Yeah,
That's
you know
Mel
what?
Gibson.
Braveheart is a great Scottish movie made by an Australian. So,
Look, I'd love to come in and say DuckTales the movie, but I haven't been introduced yet.
Oh my God! Rectify that.
ladies
Right
and gentlemen, our very special guest today is Ivan Hernandez.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This
I've-
is my theme music playing in the background. It plays everywhere I go.
I'm glad you picked it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you must be very popular amongst fly bitches then.
Oh, believe me, fly bitches are my demographic.
Sweet. Excellent.
Fly bitches 18 to 49. I love the 49-year-olds in
Oh, well,
there.
you know, flies only live for like 12 hours, right?
Nobody wants those fly bitches. Those fly bitches are... All fly bitches are temporary. Those are especially temporary.
I know this is going to sound like super boring to everybody, but
Well, we just did just come off of talking about our taxes, so
I have...
so thrill us again.
I'm like one of these people who does not want to like kill anything. Like so, like if there is a fly in my apartment, I will like open the windows and I will try to like court him or her out, and
Try to tempt him with like a fully cooked chicken outside of the window
like
or something.
I'm not like a one of these Buddhists who like does not want to kill anything ever because I do eat meat. But so like I just figure like if I don't have to kill something, I won't do it. So like that's. But now I have this like problem with like I think the flies know that he's not going to fucking kill us.
They're abusing your pacifist nature.
Right, exactly. So I'm like this
Got a
close.
shitty reputation in the fly community.
I'm like this close to going like totally like fly killer on these people. But I was in like not to sound like Gary Busey, but I was like yelling at this fly the other day because in my bedroom there is a very large spider. Okay, and he like has his like web up in the corner. And like I allow him to live there rent free, okay?
You frequently yell at him, you live and serve at my pleasure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like I feel like
We should clarify. You live in a jungle, right? Like, I mean,
Right,
you said you live-
in the mission.
Sometimes you ride the spider to work, right?
So I'm just like I'm allowing this like spider to live because like he's got his like little web, and then like I have these flies that I'm trying to get out,
Circle
and
of
I was
life.
like yelling at this fly the other day. I was like, hey man, you can either fly out the window right now, or you can get caught in the spider's web, and then he will come over and suck the blood out of you while you're alive. So your choice.
You're into the phase of reasoning with the flies. Where he's like, hey, look, like,
That's one of my favorite novels, Reasonable Man of the Flies.
the Lord of the Reasonable Flies.
hey, Piggy raises a lot of good points.
All right, so I told you that it was going to be boring, and there you go.
What I'm doing right now, and have been doing for a while now, because there are screens on the windows of my room, and I can't remove them, sometimes a fly will jump onto the screen, and I will slam the window down, and I will slowly watch the fly die over starvation and exposure to the elements over the course of like 3 or 4 days.
So like that's different than me.
Oh, no.
It's like-
I relish it. I enjoy it.
But it probably serves as a great notice to other flies in the community. They like, walk by
does.
and they're like, hey, this guy doesn't fuck
Yeah.
around. Like, not like Jeff over there. We can go like camp out at his place.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I'm getting this.
All he's going to do is
reputation
give
as
us
being-
some bullshit speech about how the spider might eat us. and
I'm
then we can
getting-
stay there all we want.
I'm seriously getting like a reputation for being soft on flies.
No, I put a metaphorical head on a pike at the gates of my township.
They're like, Jeff's place is cool. He's probably going to like talk to you about his band, but he'll totally smoke you out.
There was Donnie Devanian, who was a local comic. He did this great joke, and it's based on like a true
And tennis pro.
and not pro, but tennis
Yeah.
like
Aficionado?
He's a
Wonderkind.
he's a tennis instructor.
Yeah.
Is he now?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So
You learn crazy great new stuff about local comedians.
Jules Posner was basically set to go into like Major League Baseball.
Really?
Yeah.
no, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Really? Why?
I don't know if he was like set to go into the but he was like an accomplished baseball player.
Jules Posner is another like SF comic.
He must have does he know Brody Stevens, and do they like hang out and talk about near baseball success? Like,
and they throw a few balls back and forth. It's a very father-son thing.
Like, hey,
You guys stop talking
only
about-
double A, huh? I got to triple A. Fuck you.
You're stepping on my fly story.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Wait,
What
what's
else
that?
do you have about
No,
the flies?
no.
Now joining.
Do you
Jeff's
tell them about
fly
your
story,
problems?
Already in progress.
No, but
Do you pay these flies $1.25 an hour to listen to your problems?
listen.
Previously on Jeff's
I'm not.
Flies.
I'm not saying I name them. I'm not saying I don't name them. Okay. No, but Donnie Devanian does this great joke, which is based on truth, where he said, like, on the Earth, the most, like, the insects, like, they're the most prevalent species on Earth. Like, there's like
How high was he when he said
like billions upon billions. Okay, like we're at 7 billion people, right? And there's like something like a trillion insects, right? And Donnie Devanian was saying that he read somewhere that like for every person alive, there's like something like 5 billion ants. And he's like, so where are my fucking ants? He's like, I want my ants. Like, if that's
it's a lot of ants.
Is this one of those like flying car scenarios? Where's my flying car? Where's my army of 5 billion ants?
I was promised ants by every
Right, like-
by every science fiction movie I saw.
you were promised ants by statisticians.
I was told that I was going to be the reasonable man of the ants.
Now Ivan is the host. You are the host
co-host.
of co-host. I'm sorry, of Gore. Is it Gore?
Wars?
Boars, Gore, and Swords.
Yes.
There we go.
And
it
Ivan,
is-
you said, like, you know what, I really don't want to talk about Game
I
of
don't-
Thrones.
Oh no! I
So
didn't,
guess what?
I didn't think it was.
We're
Game
talking
of
about Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
I assume.
Oh, wait, so wait.
I'll be
I assume there's
incredibly
a
honest
podcast
about
about the Showtime series Shameless. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like Emmy Rossum a lot.
okay.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh yeah, she's
Huge
very
like
pretty.
celebrity crush.
Oh, she's very pretty. How many of your celebrity crushes have you met, or been in the same room as?
Ooh.
You count television?
Did you count that fly?
No. Have you like met Emily Rosen?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was.
So
I
do you-
met Sarah Silverman.
Okay, so you have
Oh,
a
wow,
celebrity
okay.
crush that you have met. Oh yeah,
Sarah
I've
Silverman.
met Sarah Silverman.
Oh yeah.
Or I was
Oh,
in
no,
the same
and-
room
and-
with her.
And when I was like a teenager, I was one of those like had a picture of her up on my wall, like real nerd about it. And she was super nice. There was a little kid backstage at her show, and she kept doing like mouth farts to entertain the kid, and it
Aw.
was adorable.
I believe like Andrew and I went to NYU, and I believe she was going to NYU when you and I were there.
Really? I didn't know
And like you never would know because like we were
that.
like
Doesn't
total
hang
like
out with
nerds.
dorks. She's like, I'm hanging out with the acting people, not
So
you,
any other
dork."
celebrity crushes that you've been in the same room with?
Oh yeah. Oh, Sketchfest is amazing for that. Lizzie Kaplan,
Oh my God, yes.
wow.
Ann Lake Bell.
Yeah,
Same table.
totally,
Right,
totally, yeah.
And like both of them. Not to be a creep or anything.
Sketchfest is
Not
like
to be an incredible leering
I
creep
think
or anything.
in Bridgetown we saw Maria Thayer hanging out in the street a lot.
Oh,
and stuff
Maria
like that.
Thayer.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
adorable. She's like, I mean, like, but it's like one of those things where like you see her on TV and you're like, oh my God, like like
Yeah.
how hauntingly beautiful she is, and then you see her in person and she's like, she's 4 feet tall, like all celebrities are.
Oh no,
It's
she's
like-
still super beautiful.
Oh yeah, totally. But,
Sketchfest is one of those things where, like, if you get to go to the after-hour parties, you're like, "Oh my God, yeah, that's great. That's Lizzie Kaplan," and like, "I'm so glad to be here." And then you turn around like, "Oh, that's Barry Sobel." you're like, this kind of cancels each other out.
Oh no, I exclusively do a lot of like shoulder surfing. There was one point where I just had somebody I straight up told them, "Hey, talk to me so I can stare at Lizzie Kaplan for like an hour."
But also, like, if you get to go to those like after parties at Sketchfest, like. It's like it basically it's like a real party except with people that you know. There was like a point where we were at the Miyako Hotel, and I was like just standing there talking to somebody, and I just realized like in my like field of vision, Gilbert Gottfried's like over there, and like he looks like he doesn't know anybody. He's getting lonely. I was like, hey, you know what? I gotta go talk to Gilbert Gottfried just so he doesn't leave.
do you remember the same thing? The same thing happened to us at Bridgetown in Portland. We were
Which
like,
Bridgetown did you go?
this was like 2 years ago, so 2012.
I was probably out there.
Yeah.
I
went to
had
breakfast
so
with,
much
like,
fun
crew
at
and everything.
that show.
But like there was an after party that Jimmy Dore snuck us into.
Jimmy Dore?
Yeah.
Which one was this one? One of the ones at the Giant Theater?
The sort of off out of the way place where it had like
I
an
love
upstairs.
that.
Like
I love that.
Yeah, that was, it was a great
that
spot.
dancing happening at that party was amazing.
Oh, it was crazy.
First of all, Guy Branum, amazing dancer. Kulop Valisov.
I was gonna say Kulop Valisov was there.
Dancer.
We like
Virginia Jones, amazing dancer.
James Adomian.
Dave Hill, good dancer, great guitar player.
Yeah. Comedy parties, I find that most comedy parties, if they're not weird, end up turning weird, and the few ones that I've been to that don't get weird at all are like very small and intimate and like hanging out like 8 people at somebody's house.
It's weird because I like the ones that are like intimate, like you're talking about, like we're 8 people hanging out at somebody's house. That's great. But the kind of the big ones at Sketchfest last year are kind of cool too because like they try to give you activities to do.
I
And
didn't actually like that.
you do or don't.
No, I didn't like the whole activities thing. I didn't like.
It sounds uncomfortable. Like,
No,
it sounds
like,
like
it's just like some of it is just like too much of like an onus to do certain.
well, it's
things.
like I mean, do they
Well-
assume that like comedians don't know how to hang out with each other? Like,
no,
no, no.
But
But
Well, here's the thing: they don't.
well, probably.
Well,
Yeah.
it's true, but
Yeah.
the thing is, like at the activity thing that I loved last year, like not so much there was one where there was a karaoke, and like karaoke is like catnip for fucking comedians because they already have this bug where they have to be on stage.
Or like ground control in Portland. Like I mean, like yeah,
That's
they
kind
just
of
dump
you know
the
what
comedians there forever.
I
Oh,
love
no, that was amazing and beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I love that, but that's kind of like nerdy because like nobody's like socializing.
and I guess you got a problem with that.
Well, no, it's what it is. It's like you're not like nobody's like looking over someone's shoulder. I mean, like, oh, I guess John Fugelsang sucks at pinball.
Right, it's
like, but
Did you see that?
Do you want this? Do you want people to feel pressure about their video game skills at a comedy festival?
well,
Because let me tell you, I got my ass handed to me at
By
Marvel
who?
vs. Capcom by Jesse Elias.
I can
Me
see
in Marvel
him like
vs.
sort of
Capcom.
being like a idiot savant when it comes to video games or something like that. Like I can completely see him like
I can see him like
memorizing Pac-Man patterns or something.
I can see him stepping up to like a fucking Defender game and just like laying waste,
He'd be like,
excuse me, and like not even like paying attention, just like talking to you and just like fucking laying waste.
Not making eye contact with you or the video game machine.
like singing obscure opera while he's like on level 50
But
or
his
whatever.
singing voice is so
It's
fucking
amazing.
beautiful.
It's amazing.
Okay,
Like,
but it is amazing when you have these like activities for like comedian parties
Right.
because like when we all went to Mission Bowling Club and like you started to watch like people like bowl, you're like, oh yeah, Kevin Pollak
Oh, you
sucks
know
at
what?
bowling.
I just realized why I brought up Portland though, and that was because Todd Barry was doing the same thing that Gilbert Gottfried was doing at Sketchfest, where like, I mean, there's this big party, like there's tons of people there, and like Todd Barry looks like he's desperate to talk to somebody, or that like no one will talk to him. He's just sort of like standing in a corner, like staring at it, and like you just automatically feel like that's Todd Barry, and he's like pathetically alone. Like I should go up and talk to him or something. Like, and like and I would go up to Todd Barry anyway. It's not like I'm like taking pity on him, but it's just weird like to see somebody that like you admire like just sitting in a room like
Which is kind of like weird, like that, like you would like roll up on Todd Barry because, like you're if you took Todd Barry
3'5"
and you took another Todd Barry and put him on top of Todd Barry, like Andrew would still be taller than Todd Barry, the two Todd Barrys.
Well,
Yeah, Andrew is basically like Todd Barry on top of Todd Barry's shoulders trying to get into an R-rated movie.
you can like ask the Todd Barry in my stomach like for,
Exactly.
for his
It's
ID.
very Quado. It's very Quado.
So the greatest example of that sort of like like a big guy rolling over to like somebody that he really loves is like Andrew and I were living in L.A. and we were at a piano bar once, and it was you, me, and this
God.
other
I forgot
roommate.
about that.
And who was at this piano bar? Like white
This is
piano
like
bar.
Reseda, like
It was-
Woodland Hills, maybe. I mean, like it's
Yeah, it was
it's,
on Ventura Boulevard.
Yeah, not like we're not in South Central or anything. Like it's
So
it's
we're-
like suburban.
We're at
Los
this like
Angeles.
San Fernando Valley piano bar, which is like totally like white and like a bunch of like drunk assholes like us. And who rolls in there but Eazy-E?
Oh my
And-
God! This was at the height. Did he
yeah,
already? Did he already contract his virus?
No, I think at this point he was still. I mean, like, or he never like came out or anything, but like he just got AIDS and died. Right?
I think it was one of those situations where he
Well,
was
he
just
wasn't-
like raw dog fucking a lot of
yeah,
temporary fly bitches.
Yeah, no, because he wasn't. No, he
Are you done
wasn't.
with
gay.
that?
I don't think he was on the DL or anything.
No, he
You
wasn't
done with
gay
that girl,
'cause-
Magic Johnson? I'll take it from here. You know.
No, because he.
I think it was literally a Magic Johnson situation. That he was having sex at Magic Johnson's theaters.
Probably, yeah, exactly.
But he was
Bathroom
at
out of the closet.
he was at this piano bar with a like tall, leggy girl who was like almost like probably about a third taller than he was.
Right.
And so then like me and like our roommate at the time, we were like starstruck. We were like, holy
Yeah.
shit, it's fucking Eazy-E.
Like we're just sitting here at some piano bar, and in walks Easy fucking E.
And then he like gets up from his table, goes to the men's room, and then the three of us, like fucking fanboys, like walk over to like and wait for him to come out.
Excuse me, Mr. E?
Did
Right,
you wash
exactly.
your hands, Mr. E?
And of course, like Andrew's like 6'7", and my friend Chad's like 6'3", and I'm like 6 feet, and like so there's like three lily white guys like waiting for him to come out of the
guys
thing.
sure like your music, Mr. E.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly the way it
Should I
was.
call you Easy?
Would you like me to repeat lyrics to you from Straight Outta Compton? Because I can.
He probably was just like, thank you guys. All right, so to get back to what you were originally saying, Ivan has a podcast.
I was trying to take it away from there, but okay. You managed to keep track of the conversation.
You know what? You never
You're
know.
a wily one, Jeff.
This could go any way. We started talking about your podcast and we started talking about Easy. Okay, so like we could be like
you want to talk about Easy A because I think
Easy-
it was not a great use of Emma Stone's talents because my problem with a lot of the female-fronted studio like film comedies as of recent is they make it too much focused on the woman's like sex. Like,
Yeah, well, I
like
mean,
with the to-do
Easy
list.
what?
Something
Easy
like
A.
something like Easy
Yeah.
A was like definitely like the sort of Mean Girls runoff or whatever like that, where it's just like it's like all of a sudden like Mean Girls did well, so like all we have to do is plug the actress of the moment into the same story or whatever like that, and it'll like take off like gangbusters. And, like,
Okay, so by the way, like I'm gonna like jump in here. Who the fuck are you guys talking about? Who's Easy A?
It's
a movie
Emma Stone
starring Emma
movie
Stone.
from 2013? No, 2012. Because I saw that in like a triple
oh no,
feature
earlier than that,
with.
like, it's got to be like 2006, 2007.
Oh no, it's definitely 2012 because I saw it when I lived here.
Oh shit, okay.
And I saw it in a triple
2012
feature
is
with. What was that triple feature? Iron Man 3.
Listeners can skip ahead 4 minutes now to like.
Oh no, I'm going to spend this
No,
entire
I'm
time
ju-
trying to
I'm
remember
gonna-
the third movie that I watched in that triple feature.
Like, someone just skipped like
Wait,
forward
you said
from the.
Iron Man 3? There's been a third Iron Man?
There's been. Yeah. Do you want me to talk about
Now
Captain America:
now we
The
have to
Winter
take a break
Soldier?
while Ivan has a heart attack.
I know we're gonna have to like take a break.
Oh, and here's the thing: not the only good Marvel movies are the first Iron Man and the new Captain America. Everything else really coasts on my goodwill towards the characters and the fact that, like, if you want to see a very literal interpretation of the Marvel Comics version of Thor, directed by Kenneth Branagh, they gave you exactly that.
Yeah.
What if you didn't want to see that?
Oh, then you will not want to see that. That is a zero-sum proposition. You either hear,
But what if you like Kat Dennings making corny jokes
oh,
for
they
like
were
3
terrible.
hours?
And my least favorite thing about those Marvel movies is the terrible veneer of humor.
Yeah, well, I mean, they just basically plug in like CBS like Thursday night or whatever. Like, like, hey, Two Broke Girls is good. Like, let's dump her in it. Like,
I love having Ivan here because like we can just go forever. But like, I just want to let you know, Ivan. Like last week's guest was Matt Lee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Matt Lee, great guy, and like he really like. I had no idea, but he like divulged a lot of like his like personal past about his like drug use and stuff. And I feel like the worst thing we're gonna get out of Ivan is like, you know what? I kind of like some DC comics.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all,
when I was a kid,
oh no, if
I
we
was
want to
into,
get into
like,
personal,
second generation
oh no,
X-Men.
oh, you guys want to get into some real personal weird stuff that just
Uh-oh.
happened to me?
do we?
I saw a man possibly try to commit suicide in front of me on Monday.
No.
So do you want to get
Was-
serious?
wait.
Because I think you're going to have to buy me another whiskey.
Okay, you want to take a break and come back and tell
Now,
us
when
that
you
story?
say when you say commit suicide, do you mean like he watched Iron Man 2 like in its
Yeah,
entirety? or-
exactly. Were you walking out of
Oh,
the
now
Captain
who's
America?
trying to be flippant? The second I try to get serious, you guys bring it back to dumb juvenile comic books.
God damn it! We're
God,
never.
why
we're
can't
never
you
gonna
guys
get
just be
serious
mature?
guests. We're never gonna get serious guests on this podcast if we continue to like talk about our taxes and superheroes.
Let's talk about
All right, I'll tell you
serious
what.
shit. Buy me more
So here we
whiskey.
go. We'll take a break, and each one of us is going to have to talk about something serious when we come back.
All
Okay?
right, everybody, calm down.
Oh, no,
and
if you
gather
want-
your thoughts.
If you want me to talk about serious stuff, we can go all motherfucking emotionally core at the heart of each of us night.
Put a cork in it, Hernandez.
Oh no, you pulled out the cork. Here's the thing, you got me corked.
You hear that?
I
Paul,
presented,
Joe Martin, we're going like,
the corked Ivan Hernandez to you, and you were like, why isn't his cork out? And now I pulled the cork out, and it's all flushing out.
All right, this bar is apparently full of Ivan Hernandez now. So
Yeah, we're like knee deep in it. All right, so hey, I played this song. All right, so whatever. Let's take a break. Here, I just want to let you know this song's great. This is French.
Did you get the licenses for this music?
This is French Navy by Camera Obscura. We'll be back from Edinburgh Castle. All right, and we are.
Is this going?
Yes.
All right.
is this going?
All right, and we are back at Edinburgh Castle.
God damn it! You don't see
And you
people
know-
on Letterman saying, "Is this thing running?" No.
How much time do we
Hey,
have?
is this
left?
recording equipment on?
So we've been having a lot of fun up until this point.
With our great guest Ivan Hernandez.
Ivan
Hey
Hernandez.
everybody, how's it
We're
going?
we're at the Edinburgh Castle on Geary and Larkin and Polk.
But it's time to get serious.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, if you guys want to get serious, here's the thing.
Ivan, you can go first.
Oh, look guys,
We're gonna take the rest of the night.
you
off.
might not be aware of this. I live my life in a constant state of emotional tension. 100% tension at all times. My biceps are just steel girders. I can just twist goddamn steel girders at any moment of my life. And I like to just
Sounds
be
handy.
fun.
Where's he going with this?
I like to just be
Girder
fun.
twisting.
I like to just have a good time. But if you guys want to get serious, then god damn it.
Wow,
that's what we're
that's a
going
loaded
to
question.
do.
Like
That's the
I
thing.
feel like
if you guys want to get serious, then we're going to get serious. I'm an open book. You can ask me literally everything as long as it doesn't concern any of my previous relationships that might be known about.
I feel like someone is offering us a chance to
So-
tear down the levees of New Orleans or something like that, where it's like, hey, if you want, you can just turn all of this
And if you want to
protection
hear
off.
a story about me watching a guy possibly try to commit suicide,
Hey, you
let's
know
just
what?
deploy
Let's do that.
right
Let's
now.
have that. Okay. So
Yeah. Okay. So,
let's
You have a choice
let's
between-
bring the room up a little.
Yeah.
It's like you have a choice between suicide or my relationships. Oh, suicide.
yeah. They're
Alright, here we go.
about equal. So, on Monday,
On Monday.
I was going to Berkeley to record a podcast.
This is a recent story.
Oh yeah, this just happened to me. Why do you think I'm in an incredible state of tension right now?
Wait, were you recording someone else's podcast or your own?
How dare you?
It was the Escapist podcast,
Oh,
which is this comic
don't
book
interrupt
Jesus
podcast.
Christ, you told me he hadn't done other people's podcasts. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's the one that I also kind of co-host.
Oh, okay, well then.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do that.
I'm allowed to do
Don't-
whatever the fuck I want.
Andrew,
you think you got
don't-
an exclusive on me? You got
Don't-
nothing on me.
Don't
Nothing.
don't
We got
interrupt
this town
him.
sewn up tight. Podcast.
He's got a story about like a dead guy. Okay,
Oh, yeah, I should probably,
so this is kind of like
I'm miring it down in
it's
like
we're- it's
bullshit.
like no. It's like
you
we're-
can't even release this podcast because you won't get the licensing rights for the music.
It's like nobody would watch the movie Stand By Me if someone just kept interrupting them from like, going to see the fucking dead guy. All right.
So, okay. So, I was going to Berkeley. I was at the Oakland 19th Street station to make my transfer northbound. There are about 5 people on the platform at that time. It is about like 12:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And
What's the
there's this
weather like?
gentleman,
Oh, God, sorry.
Andrew. I will
I will-
push this
I
goddamn
will-
glass
I
full
will
of whiskey
stab you
right
where
in your
you
face.
stand.
Right in your face. I've gotten
Carry
to the
on.
point where I find humorous threats amazing. So,
19th Street Station. Here we go.
there was this guy, late 40s, early 50s, ratty scarf, vest, sweatpants. He sits down,
A homeless Doctor Who.
basically. He sits down and he puts his legs like over the tracks,
Ooh.
like he's sitting on the dock.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
where was this?
19th Street Station, the BART station.
Wow.
Yeah, he puts his legs over the tracks,
Right.
and
But
there's
he's,
a train.
He's sitting. He's not like.
He's just sitting there, but
right.
there's a train coming.
But the
Oh.
19th Street Okay, I just want to clarify this. So the 19th Street station is underground,
Yes.
though, right? So he had to jump down onto.
He didn't get onto the tracks. He just had his leg over the side.
over the side. Okay,
Like,
all right.
but
yeah.
it's still,
and
like,
that's gonna
basically,
that's
like-
gonna take
Oh
a
no!
while.
If the train comes, his
comes,
legs
it'll
are
slice his legs
history.
off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I see him sit down,
All right.
and it doesn't register to me. I'm just like, oh, that guy sat down. Okay.
I'm sure that's okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in your
Yeah,
head, you're like,
exactly.
He's probably works for
and,
Bart.
And there are these two women near him, one sitting directly behind him, and there's this guy next to me.
Was
and the
the
guy
train-
goes, the
Okay.
train's coming.
The train's coming.
Like literally, the train is coming. We can see it coming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the guy next to me goes, hey man, do you see that? And he starts walking over there, and like as the train is coming, and you see the two women and this dude just like grab him and slide him back. And like as soon as I see them taking action, I like run over there and I put my hands out to like push him down in case he tries to jump onto the tracks or anything.
Take some credit as well, you know.
Exactly. To exercise
You're
some
like,
human
me
empathy, which I
too.
might not be sure that I actually have.
We're all good Samaritans today. Let's not
Yeah.
bicker over who saved who.
Exactly. So the entire time he doesn't say anything.
Okay.
He doesn't make any utterances at all. He doesn't make any eye contact with anyone. He doesn't try to get up when they're pulling him back.
You think he's just blacked out on drugs or something, or like?
I'm getting to this.
Oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
trying to finish. Andrew,
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
trying to finish this emotional story.
I am the worst interviewer on the planet.
So, Oprah, you are not.
So tell us about your podcast. No, go ahead.
Do you have some more whiskey under this chair for me?
Go ahead. All right. So go on.
They pull him back.
Right.
And the train comes in, the doors open, and he gets on the train. One of the women is on the phone with the police, and she gets in there too, and we all get into the first train. And he just sits down, and he just stares forward for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then he just falls asleep.
So maybe he's a narcoleptic?
I don't know what was happening.
That seems
So-
like a nice
Wow.
angle to it.
All right, we pull into Ashby, and that was my stop, so I get out, and I see a cop walking down the platform, and the woman flags him down, and then I leave because if I stay to watch, I am a ghoul.
Or even worse, like possibly get hassled into showing up at court or something.
Exactly.
Right.
Look,
Wow.
I'm not filming a world star hip-hop video. I feel great about myself.
Do you think
So-
that?
You know that-
do you think that the driver of the train was able to see him
Oh
sitting?
no,
or
it was coming in at the regular speed, and they just pulled him out. Like the train
Dude,
was like
no.
200-300 yards away.
You know, like the driver of like BART trains, they're only the only control they have is like opening the doors and shutting the doors.
Yeah, it's
But
all
still,
on
I mean,
automatic.
I think that would be the worst part about being a BART driver is that you don't actually. So if you see a guy sitting on the tracks, you basically just have to suck it up, knowing he's about to plow through your windshield.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna like lock up the brakes in the BART train and screw up the guy who's trying to beg for change in the back?
Exactly. You're like, well, I could lock up the brakes, but that would inconvenience some people, so I'm just gonna plow through this guy and see if
although
nobody notices.
He's on a timetable.
And you know what?
That guy's clearly made a choice. I'm not here to doubt what he's done.
I want to say when we said we're gonna have a serious story. I just want to say that was a very serious story.
Yeah.
But
Do you want to get into my fears about mortality that ended up coming out because of it?
No, but
Because I want to get
no
into
one
it.
cares
Because
about that.
do you want to get
no.
into existential thought?
No, but
Everyone-
you prefaced that story about I have a story about a guy who was trying to kill himself, and really you had a guy who was trying to kill his legs.
The legs are a part of the self.
Well,
Look,
I don't know,
if I
maybe
say
he
a
was
guy
just
shot
I'm-
himself in the head, do I have to specifically say, look, he didn't shoot himself in his entire body?
Maybe the
not
guy
to be a
hates his legs.
not to be a stickler, but you could sever off both your legs, and then you could lead a wonderful life.
He's thinking to himself,
Look, you're thinking about Gary Sinise and Forrest Gump, and that's no life that I want to live.
what do you mean, traveling around in a rock and roll band singing about George W. Bush? It's awesome.
All right, you want to hear my story? Now, okay, so now you're done.
Was that
Okay.
serious enough,
Now-
or do you want me to
no,
get
no,
into
no,
more
no,
seriousness?
No,
Because I can get
no.
into more seriousness, Jeff.
I don't
And
doubt
Jeff,
that at all.
My life is a wellspring of seriousness from which we may plumb the fruits of more seriousness.
Okay, but now it's my turn.
Okay.
And now it's
No.
you guys' turn to
Let me drink.
to
So that you can buy me another
interrupt
whiskey
me.
in about 10 minutes.
So strap in, fellas. Here it comes.
And actually, my serious story is not really serious, but like it's a complaint.
God
like
damn it,
here's something that I really hate. There's like this new ad on television for tequila, okay? And it's for like Hornitos tequila, and like if you're like looking for a spokesperson for tequila, who would you go out and get, right?
Who's who's the guy from the Machete movies?
Danny Trejo.
Yeah, Danny Trejo.
Okay.
He's my go-to tequila guy.
But like the spokesperson for this tequila is Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction, a band that I fucking love. Okay, and they show all these like shots of Perry Farrell, like basically like like being a rock
Receiving
star.
checks from
Well,
tequila companies.
like he's like, and the thing is, and they have this like voiceover where Perry Farrell says, "It's not what you do that kills you."
I can't believe I haven't seen this commercial. That's crazy.
Wait, it's coming up.
All right.
So he says, "It's not what you do that kills you; it's what you don't do." And then it says like Hornitos. And the thing about it is, I'm just like, okay, so really,
Is
Perry
he threatening me?
Right. Well, the thing that like bothers me is that like they actually shot a bunch of like shots of Perry Farrell backstage at like a concert and like riding in a golf cart with like a fucking like hot like model and like him like holding up a bottle of like tequila.
Right.
But it's like you have to understand, if you're Hornitos, your spokesperson is Perry Farrell, and what they should have done is not shoot anything, but just basically go on Google, and if anybody out there wants to do this, just like search for Perry Farrell heroin sex video. And then you will see Perry Farrell, the spokesperson for Hornitos tequila, in the back of a limousine, trying to have, like, high on smack, trying to have sex with some girl with his, like, shrimpy limp dick. And, like, he starts to moan about how he thinks that maybe he is the devil. And, like, that would be such a better, like, ad. And she'd be like, and he's just like, I think I might be the devil. Hornitos tequila.
And takes the edge of a smack.
But, like, it's such a weird thing, because when I was a kid, there were no, like, hard alcohol ads.
Right.
And now, in the last, like, 15 years, they've, like, said, like, oh, no, hard alcohol ads, they're cool. You can go and, like, do that. But, like, I think it's, like, really amazing, like, the spokespeople that they have to go and do hard alcohol ads. Because, like, yeah, you got to find, like, Perry. You have to find somebody who's, like, totally fucked up. But, like,
and
also,
still
like,
has
successful.
some credibility, like, I mean, like a slight, like, small amount.
Like, you could go out and, like, a great hard alcohol spokesperson would be Gary Busey, but the thing is, he's totally clean.
Exactly.
And he's found God.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, what they find, like, Perry Farrell, and the other great one.
Michael Imperioli.
Yeah, Michael Imperioli. Who, like, he does a ad for a tequila as well.
Cuervo 1800, I think.
And when, like, one of my favorite, like, I was watching that television with an old roommate of mine, and then, like, we saw that ad, and my old roommate, who's from New York,
Right.
his, like, reaction goes, what does that guy know about tequila? He's a guinea. And,
Whoa, that one's intense.
but I was just like, I haven't heard someone use the word guinea in a long time.
Did he just watch a Michael Imperioli movie? Because
He was
that's
like-
basically the only place where people use that word.
He learned how to speak English from Do the Right Thing, I think.
But
By the
also,
way, Jeff.
the other great spokesperson from for like tequila or like hard alcohol,
Right.
is Ray Liotta. Have you seen this?
Ray
Like,
Liotta does commercials? Who does he do commercials?
that's fantastic.
it's for like some hard alcohol. And the thing is, like, the commercial is that he walks in and looks at the bartender, and the bartender, like, is gonna go get him a drink, and then, like, Liotta, like, kind of gives him this look, and, like, the bartender's like, oh no, I got to get the good stuff for Ray Liotta. It's almost like Ray Liotta says to this old bartender, hey, look, man, I was in Dominic and Eugene with Tom Hulse, where he played like a mentally challenged person.
Look, I was in Observe and Report.
I need
Exactly, he gets a free pass.
or also, like, maybe what he's saying is, hey, I'm Ray Liotta. It's all been downhill since Goodfellas for me. I need really
it
strong.
has.
So just a quick aside about, like, celebrity spokespeople, and this is, I don't know if you've seen, you know who Scott Van Pelt is, ESPN golf analyst, basically, and like he's doing this whole set of commercials for like Pizza Hut's like wing joint, like thing, and it's like I mean, like Scott Van Pelt is like the whitest, like like hey, I'm a sportscaster. Like
he's like a 6'5" white guy who commentates golf.
The last guy you would like say, hey, that guy knows all about wing joints. Like he's, that guy clearly like spends a lot of time in the deep south, like eating wings out of like the back of a pickup truck.
I trust that guy's wing opinion, and I trust Rick Ross's.
Exactly.
Is it one of those like crusty?
He owns like
25 wing stops.
Wing stops. That's great.
But is it one of those like Krusty the Clown like commercials where he like takes a bite of the thing, and as soon as like yell cut, he's like, holy shit, get it out of my mouth. Some of the juices went down my throat.
Have you seen the Padma Lakshmi Carl's Jr. ad? Have you seen any of the incredibly sexual Carl's Jr. ads?
I mean, those have been around forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't Kate
Kim
Upton
Kardashian
did one.
So Lakshmi does one with
Lakshmi does one where she just like
arm.
literally just like licks ketchup off of her wrist.
Wait, who is this?
Padma
Top
Lakshmi,
Chef.
Okay,
the super
you know
hot
that
Indian
incredibly
used to be-
beautiful lady that was Salman Rushdie's wife.
Yeah, believe that.
Yeah.
Salman Rushdie, getting it done.
I know. Like,
Oh no, Salman Rushdie laying it down.
well,
Salman
and I
Rushdie
think
got that supermodel dick.
he divorced her for to go off with somebody else too. Like,
was that what happened?
that's a pimp move right there.
Oh,
Like, it's
man.
like
That's
Padma Lakshmi. Who
the
cares?
more you try to kill a man, the more he's attractive to women.
Exactly. Look at Billy Joel.
Yeah.
So do you have Andrew? Do you have a very sad,
But by the way,
serious story?
Jeff, my story was I almost watched a man die. Your story was I watched a commercial.
No, my story was I saw Perry Farrell.
The Perry Farrell sex.
like that.
That's a traumatizing event.
we are all watching Perry Farrell die.
Yep.
All right. So once this would be 20 years ago, almost. More than 20 years ago. So yeah, 21, 22 years ago.
And we'll be right back.
And sorry, just like, the rest of my story should just be like on fast forward.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
Like almost 22 years ago, I was living in the middle of fucking nowhere with two people that we remember anyway, and that's Robert and Richard Gaeta.
When you say in the middle of nowhere, I'm just gonna say was in Coalinga.
Coalinga, California, which is exactly halfway between here and Los Angeles on the I-5, and everyone will know the place I'm talking about because its other name is Cowschwitz. Because it's if you're going down the I-5, all you see is like cows waiting to be slaughtered for about like a mile and a half, and it's just like
delicious.
Exactly, and like Harris Ranch is right there, and like they own all the cows, and so you can eat them if you like. But like
Couch
but it's like
a
just
hilarious pun on the final solution.
It was either that
That's
or
a real great serious Holocaust joke there, Andrew.
It was either that or Doc Cow, I think.
Although, you know what? If Morrissey was listening to this, he'd be like, yeah, what's the difference?
But anyway, so I was living in Coalinga, California, going to community college for a year for reasons that I couldn't even explain.
Listen, you're talking to a community college graduate.
Very good. AA. But so anyway, these two gentlemen that I was sharing an apartment with were both basketball players for a small community college, and they were identical twins. And good-looking Argentinian dudes, whatever. So
so the products of Nazi experimentation?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. To get us back on point into Nazism.
Yeah. And that is the point. 4 of them, to be exact.
And so, in my wisdom, and probably something that I got from you, Jeff, is that I had some sheets of acid, and so we went to where Hearst Castle, actually, like outside of Hearst Castle.
San Simeon?
San Simeon, indeed. And we went to, there was
Wasn't San Simeon one of the writers in The Simpsons?
I think so, yeah. He's the one that has cancer, right?
R.I.P. San Simeon.
He's not dead yet.
He's not dead yet.
Not yet.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Ivan.
Well, you know what? You never know when someone's going to listen to this podcast, so like, we might as well be.
We need to make this
safe to
podcast
say-
evergreen.
Right. Oh, and R.I.P. Perry Farrell as well. But anyway, so I took these two identical twins to a beach under a craggy rock on the Pacific coast to drop acid. And as will happen, I found out, when you drop acid with identical twins at a beach in the middle of the night. No. Each one of them thinks that the other one is the evil version of themselves.
Whoa!
And so they both are talking to me, saying, "I have to kill that guy because he's the evil version of me."
But you
That's
don't.
a twin thing?
But the
That's
thing
an
is,
actual twin thing?
but the thing
when
is,
they're on acid only,
and
apparently.
also, wait, you're on acid. Like,
oh yeah,
each
so I'm
one-
not having a great time because I have two twins that want to kill
Like,
each other.
who am I gonna assist in killing the other one?
Well, and literally, I would be
also-
lying down on the beach with like one of the twins, and like a massive rock would like come close to the other one's head, and it'd be like,
Wait, were
I
they
almost
throwing
got him, I
rocks
almost
at
killed
each
him.
other?
Like they were actually like trying to kill each other.
Oh my God!
But also, like,
And
you.
like, plus the entire beach looked like skulls. But that's ridiculous. I mean, that's my thing.
Oh,
that I'm
yo,
going
that's
through.
crazy.
But like, you know, like
intense.
also like each one of them independently are coming to you saying the other one's evil and I need to kill
Yeah,
him.
who am I supposed
And then
to
you're like, I can't tell the two of you apart. So as far as like what you should have done is just killed them both,
I probably should.
just to be
Probably
safe.
should. Like,
Look, guys, we're just gonna split the difference. You're both the evil twin.
you know what? Hindsight is 20/20. You're right. I mean, like, yeah, it would have
Well,
made the whole drive easier, much home, everything.
If we have any twin listeners out there, I want you to write us and let us know if Andrew's story is true. Like when you
Do you secretly fear the other twin is the evil twin?
and also like
When you take acid.
like when you take acid, do you want to kill your other? Do you like maybe like if I would like Ivan, if I was your twin and we both took acid and I saw that you had like a little.
That's the thing. If you've got facial hair, so I'd assume you're the evil twin.
yeah, but maybe you didn't have it, and I just saw that
Right.
I maybe think that
Oh,
you have
okay,
facial
fair
hair,
enough.
and
Well,
I'm
one
like,
of
you know what, I'm gonna have to kill you.
One of them did have like a goatee and a
Oh,
skin-tight black
he's
outfit.
the evil twin.
I mean, yeah, so I guess that was the
Was
giveaway.
he wearing a black jumpsuit?
He was. But weirdly enough, we were all like, "What are you doing? Like, you look like an evil version of your brother." Like,
All right, so to recap,
I almost
suicide.
watched men die. Jeff watched a commercial.
no, wait, you almost watched a guy like cut his legs off.
big deal.
I try to minimize my experiences.
I'm like scarred by like Perry Farrell's
You watched one of your heroes sell out. That's
Right.
much more damaging.
Right, exactly. I'd rather watch a guy like cut his legs off than like watch like Perry Farrell,
At
one of
least
my
it wasn't-
heroes,
At
like
least it
cut his
wasn't Perry
like,
Farrell advertising tequila.
and you tried to negotiate two twins from like
he-
throwing rocks on each
He
other's
watched
heads.
twins try to kill each other. That's pretty intense.
On a beach
I'm
filled
gonna
with
say
skulls.
that's pretty serious. That's pretty serious.
Maybe I didn't see that at all in the Twins movie.
No, I know. You're right.
What? That scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger tries to bash Danny DeVito's head in with a brick?
You know,
Well,
actually,
the weird thing
it's-
about that is that this isn't that weird, I guess, but like
no, the whole thing's weird. What are you talking about?
But the beach full of skulls was.
Were they Danny DeVito skulls?
Well, no, they were very reminiscent of the first Terminator movie, where it's like you see this mound of skulls, and then all that's left is for
robot foot.
T-1000, exactly so. I got that going for me.
And you should have been like, are either your names John Connor? Because then I'll know which one to kill.
Well, actually, the most terrifying part of that entire evening, aside from like twins trying to kill
The
each other,
whole
in front of
thing
you-
sounds terrible.
It's all very terrifying.
Well, and for I'm guessing 3 or 4 hours. That's the fucked up thing about acid is it lasts way too long.
Way too long.
No one wants to be fucking out of their mind for 12 hours. That's just ridiculous.
Dude, like is there anything you can do for 12 hours?
No.
I mean, like I can't.
Have a good time.
I can't work at a job for 12 hours.
In this case, I guess drive and go to. But
no, if someone said hey, if some girl really attractive girl said I'm going to give you a 12-hour hand job, you'd be like, yeah, this isn't. I'm not going to
Okay,
like that.
how much lotion do you have on hand?
That's terrible.
it's like, can I sleep through half of it?
All right, so
Can we
Yeah,
get a
this
break?
music's pretty loud. How about we get some more drinking?
Wait,
And-
like,
Andrew,
wait,
I want to
let-
talk
wait.
about our shared history
Okay,
through
all
the
right.
internet.
Wait, let
We
him
will.
finish his story.
I want to finish because the most terrifying part of the entire thing was that we wanted to get off of the beach really bad. Me because I'm stuck with 2 homicidal twins. Them because whatever. But anytime that we would try to leave the beach, there was a small a canyon or ravine that went back away from the cliffs of the ocean. And if you walked out and looked back in that direction, there's a hotel there too. There was a guy on the
Yeti?
No, he was like on outside of the hotel, like on the deck or whatever of the hotel, pointing a shotgun directly at you that would follow you wherever you went.
Oh fuck!
And he was wearing
Wait, where was this?
This was in San Simeon, so like it's just in Southern California,
Oh,
like
shit.
middle.
That's crazy because I've been to like Caribbean countries where there will be like armed guards with like M16s.
Right.
But yeah.
But anyway, so this guy would try to kill us if we ever tried to leave. So anyway, that's it.
Are you sure that was real though?
Oh, of course it wasn't. As soon as the
Of
sun
course it
came up,
wasn't, yeah.
we
Oh wait, I
realized
thought
it
you
was
were
like
talking about a real thing.
no.
You
This is
got me there.
This
You got
is
me there.
acid. This is real. But
Acid Shotgun.
As soon as the sun
By the
came
way,
up, we were
Acid
like,
Shotgun's great punk name, band name.
All right.
If there are any punk names that want to take the name Acid Shotguns, I get 10%.
All right.
that's great. That means we get 90%.
We're gonna take a break. This has been the Acid Nightmare Hour, and we'll be back with our special guest Ivan Hernandez at the Edinburgh Castle. All right, and we are back at Edinburgh Castle.
Yeah,
Although
indeed.
I kind of like. Is there a real Edinburgh Castle? I'm sure there is.
Oh no, because when I was putting it into Google Maps and it said, "Do you want Edinburgh Castle in the United Kingdom?" To which I said, "Google Maps, you don't know me at all."
You're like, whoa, what are the drink specials at the original Edinburgh Castle?
Right.
Can I get some Guinness for a good price there? So, speaking of international locales, we were remarking on this off podcast, which why would anybody ever have a conversation that's not being recorded?
Stupid, really.
I'm sure our
I know,
listeners
right?
right
When you
now
put
are
it that
thinking the
way.
same thing.
We were discussing the different forms of people cheering each
Okay,
other.
so,
And
yes.
I'm a salute person because that is the cheers of my culture.
And what is that? What culture is that?
Hispanic.
Okay, and
I'm a Latin
and
gentleman. I am of Cuban descent.
And what does salute mean?
Good health.
Good health. Okay.
Yes. I was out with an Irish friend of mine yesterday, and her cheers was slancha.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah, I was not expecting it, but like it was amazing to hear.
I kind of feel like what is it again?
Slancha.
It kind of sounds like.
By the way, that is a terrible accent I'm doing. It
sounds-
sounds very much. It sounds more like Khan than anything else.
But still,
He tasks me.
what you're saying is like kind of sounds like somebody swallowing their tongue.
Right.
Slancha.
But okay, so
You
salute,
said, I mean, like you're from the Boston area, so
when I
go for
okay.
he goes for a simple cheers.
yeah, like
Cheers.
I have lost my like Boston accent.
Right.
But like so when I cheer people, I go like cheers.
Cheers, quiz.
Smear the queer. I don't appreciate that game, by the way.
Oh, now you're putting in
Well,
some
I
disclaimers.
don't know, like, where would-
Cancel Barcast.
When my,
hashtag.
When my older brother like played smear, he used to play Smear the Queer.
Right.
And then like my generation, we played Kill the Man with the Ball. And now in California, they play like Let's Get the Alternative Lifestyle Person.
Perfect.
But like what I was like saying to Ivan is that like when we were cheering, I noticed that Ivan was not looking at me, and I've like been kind of like learning that there are some people when you cheer them, if you do not look them in the eye, they're like mad at you.
Oh, and look, I love eye contact. How else am I going to establish dominance over my peers?
Honestly, it's overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would be more creeped out by like someone who like was just like viciously into eye contact while cheering you. Like they're like, yeah, eyes up, like like with their beer in your
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
Like you're like, oh, what did I do? Like
Stare me
sorry.
down. But the thing, the interesting thing about that is like where like the origin of like the cheering sort of
Where?
like is that
Oh,
like
I've heard this actually.
it's from I believe it's from Scandinavian or like Northern European like marauders
Vikings or
and,
whatever,
and
yeah.
Vikings and stuff, where like when they would have a truce, like they would cheer each other, and like the point is to spill a little bit of your drink into my drink
Ew.
because like they want to make sure that nobody
Nobody
poisons
poisoned
each other, right?
Oh, fuck.
So which is great because like nowadays, like we're like, oh, we're all friends, right? Cheers. But like it's coming from this point where you're like, hey, I don't trust you.
Right.
Guys,
so let's do this. It's also,
I don't want to spoil the end of the podcast, but I may have tampered with these drinks.
if you
Curse
just-
you, Hernandez.
Again, I win through my Scandinavian tactics.
But also, if
My plan was almost perfect. Almost.
if the movie Contagion taught me anything, I mean, oh my God! Like,
I hope
if
it
I
did.
could just like start another like conversation without saying if the movie Contagion taught me anything.
If the films of Steven Soderbergh taught me one thing,
Please, this is the DMV, sir. Will you get on with it?
But Larry Fishburne said to the kid that
you call him Larry.
Oh yeah. I used to call him Mr. Clean because he was in Apocalypse Now. But Lawrence Fishburne said to the kid that the reason why that we all like shake hands with our right hand is because most people are right-handed, and when you're like shaking someone's hand, you're basically saying like I am not armed.
Ah.
You know, like my hand's not on my gun.
Right.
Although I would, and that's from like the Old West, but I'm sure there was like a lot of like left-handed gunslingers
Well,
in the Old
that's
West. where
why
it was just
I
like,
learned
boom,
to shoot
boom.
lefty.
Well, it's like so like if you're in like India or something like that, like the left hand is like, or you know whatever
I know
your
where you're going.
non-dominant hand is, like you use that to wipe your ass, right?
No, it's the left hand.
It is the left. Always.
It's
the left
always the
hand.
left
Really?
hand.
So
right.
even if you're left-handed,
yeah,
you
exactly.
gotta like do everything with your right
Huh.
hand because like your left hand's full of shit. Literally.
Literally.
That's strange.
Like-
Because I don't know about you guys, but I wipe righty.
I have to admit
Righty
to that as well. Like
and
I
usually
wasn't expecting
like,
that question to come up, but
like down to up.
If you were like ambidextrous, would you be like, you know what? I just took a dump. Maybe I'll use my left hand.
Because I'm kind of
You'll
ambidextrous.
use both.
Yeah, I go straight righty. Yeah,
All the time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would
you-
feel weird
Well,
wiping
all right,
with my
so
left hand. Actually,
now we're getting into
Okay,
some,
listen, because there's nothing more serious than talking about how you wipe your butt.
exactly.
Now we're getting into some like really like you
Serious
know,
butt talk.
No,
I'm all about serious butt talk.
This is some personal shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally,
You're known throughout San Francisco as the
I'm the butt talk comedian.
Okay. Crumple or fold.
Fold.
Get-
Always.
Oh.
Okay, Ivan. Like you're so lucky I don't like cut your head off right now.
Oh, you've got concerns about how I wipe my own ass?
No,
Which
he's-
does not concern you remotely.
Jeff was born a crumpler. He'll die a crumpler.
Me dad was a crumpler. me granddad was a crumpler.
Fantastic. So we should talk about the podcast.
Andrew.
Yeah,
The
you know what?
podcast.
Hey, hey, we were just talking about
or-
wiping our asses. So
Andrew.
now let's talk about Ivan's
No.
podcast.
Okay, because me and Andrew,
Toilet
me and
paper.
Andrew have known each other for
Okay,
what,
so here we
like
go.
10 years?
Oh God, not that long. I think like since 2006,
I
2007.
mean, physically
like,
known
okay.
each other, but
Okay.
like online. I mean, God.
yeah, well,
guys.
Yeah, and you know what?
Listen,
Like, when you
I
know
don't
someone
need
on
to get too into alternative comedy message boards here,
Nobody does mean to get into that, but it
but
just
we're a
happens.
special thing alumni.
We are.
Yeah.
I mean, if MTV was making a show about it, they would call us OGs.
True
or
life,
something.
I'm a special thing poster.
So let me ask you, Ivan. Like, basically, so you were on a special thing, which is a comedy message board.
Is-
It started
Slash
out as
was.
a Tenacious D easy board and
That's
turned
true.
into its own alternative comedy message board, and now I believe is a kind of a ghost town because nobody uses message boards anymore.
Exactly.
So like you and Andrew like were one of these early adopters to this like
No.
nerd
If it
like
was-
Okay, because I was into Chris Hardwick when he was writing songs for M-Bar. I've got some of those MP3s.
Wow.
You guys should see my collections.
Well,
listen,
no.
not to take too much credit. I started the bootleg MP3 trading thread.
So
on
let
Special
me
Things.
ask you
First
this
off,
because
he's
I don't you know.
first off he's a folder, and now he likes Chris Hardwick.
Okay,
I don't know,
this
let's
is
turn
like
it off.
2000.
Just turn it
this
off.
is like
Turn-
2003 Chris Hardwick.
Turn his microphone off.
Oh, you mean like coked up Chris Hardwick, or like a drunk Chris Hardwick, like basically like
I think I would
That
like
in
coked
Terminator Rise of
Right,
the
like-
Machines Chris Hardwick.
bleached hair, like
Listen, if you want to get into my ideas about nerds of today, I'd love to because there's nothing I hate more than the nerds of today.
Oh wow! Like it sounds
no,
like
I
it sounds like
hate
you and
the
me have a
nerds
lot
of
in
today.
common in that regard. And,
Okay,
like,
so
I
wait.
could probably talk forever about that. But
All
go
right,
ahead.
so wait a minute. So like you and Andrew were on a special thing, and did you annoy enough as many people as Andrew did?
No, I think I was
impossible.
mostly like Sneeb hated me.
Who?
This guy who was a real asshole
Okay.
and would just troll me constantly.
Okay, so what about things that matter?
Well, no. Like let me
Oh, no,
let
things
me
that
ask you this.
matter?
Let me ask you this. Like,
Well,
like,
I met
like,
Amin
how did-
Barbari there.
Oh my God.
And, you know, we're friends to this day. He was the guy who first took me out for San Francisco Burrito.
I heard he.
I heard that was one of the most underrated comedy festivals of all time.
The Comedy Burrito Festival?
Especially if you
know
lose
what?
money on it.
I saw a great show at the San Francisco Comedy and Burrito Festival in retrospect because like it was at Esta Noche, which is now closed.
R.I.P.
It featured Guy Branum.
It had Morgan Murphy.
That Morgan Murphy Esta Noche set was amazing.
This wasn't the same one.
Okay.
It was Mary Van Note did an okay set. Jesse Elias did a great fucking set. Brooks Whalen, who's on Saturday Night Live now, he did a very I would call it amateurish, homophobic kind of set.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
So B-Dub was on there?
But isn't he gay?
No, I don't think so. Or at least he didn't come across that way.
Like
he,
there's like. Or
But
at
anyway,
least there's maybe a closeted SNL cast member.
So he
whatever.
made the huge mistake, basically, of like saying a few pretty homophobic things right before Guy Branum came on stage.
Oh my!
And Guy Branum fucking lit him up.
Oh my!
Like,
and
his
if
entire
anybody's gonna light somebody up for being homophobic,
his
it's gonna be Guy
entire
Branum.
like set at the Esta Noche was like, who is this Brooks Whalen asshole? Fuck that guy. And then 6 months later, he's on Saturday Night Live. So,
was it
what are you gonna do?
as was it as monumental as Jimmy Dore lighting up that guy who went long in
John Roy?
John. Okay.
John Roy went on before.
Yeah, John Roy is one of those people who I've seen around and is very super intense.
So we
have,
we have to let people know, like we have to give them a little bit of like background. It was at the Bridgetown Comedy Festival, and Jimmy Dore, who's been on the show, like went on after John Roy, and John Roy supposedly went long. And
John Roy went very long, and like Jimmy Dore was like basically on the side of the stage, like commenting on his comedy as he was doing, like, "Hey, like you gonna get off anytime soon? Like, hey, what's going on?" Like,
the thing is, like, if you go long on like a showcase in like San Francisco or something, that's one thing. But if like you're at like a comedy festival and everybody only has 20 minutes, or you only have a certain amount of time before they turn the fucking lights off.
Make or break like performance of your career. Like there's like 10 people there, and like and so like going long is kind of dickish in that scenario because like it's not like he's winning over like the president of HBO or anything like that. Yeah. Like there's like 5 people there.
Were you there for the Burrito Festival Kasim Bentley going long set?
At what stage?
This was the submission, the one where he went 15 minutes over. And here's the thing.
You know what?
For the first 10 minutes of him going over, he was killing.
You know, this is what I'll say. I was one of the co-producers of that festival, and I wasn't there, but I'm gonna allow it. I feel like I'm the judge over here. Like, you know what? I want to see where this goes, but I'm gonna allow it because I love Kasim.
Yeah.
Kasim's great.
No. Kasim's great, and I love him. And we've had like 3-hour Kasim versations where we exchange a lot about each other, and he knows a lot about me personally, and I know a lot about him personally. I would say this stuff to his face. He went like 15 minutes over, and that last 5 minutes, the crowd was not into it.
Oh wow!
By the way, I just bought CasimVacations.com.
Kasimversations? Oh no, I love saying that because I had a 3-hour Kasimversation at the Embarcadero BART station after a Punchline showcase. That was beautiful.
I love that guy, and we're gonna have him on.
Oh no,
he's great.
He's
so
great.
the wrap up.
So the wrap up to
this.
Do you want to hear a story about Bridgetown?
Wait,
no.
Wait, hold on.
Let him finish.
Let me finish this one because so after Jimmy Dore took apart John Roy or whatever like that on stage. I sort of innocently, I think, tweeted about it, and was like, oh my god, Jimmy Dore really tore John Roy a new one or whatever. And
did you tag both of them?
I don't think so. I don't.
Okay.
But still, we were at the was it the Tank or whatever like that, wherever the open mic was.
Oh yeah, that terrible fucking place.
But still a great
It's
Oh
great.
no. When I say terrible place, I mean that when I went up, I did not do that well.
Oh, okay, all right, fine.
Yeah.
No, but so anyway, I was at the Tank like maybe the next night, not more than 18 hours later or whatever, and John Roy comes up to me and he's like, I heard you've been talking shit about my set the other night, and I'm like, how did he know I'm I'm scam booger he had to do research there was serious research there for him to find out what I look like, find out where I and then come up to me and be like, hey fucker.
Wait, who's this? John Dore?
John Roy.
Right.
So
yeah, he's a very intense gentleman.
Fuck that guy.
I haven't had any negative experiences with him personally.
The thing is, when he came up to me, I was like, is he going to take a swing at me? Because it was sort of like, hey,
Hey.
I heard you doing this, and I'm like, okay, like, I know you. I saw you the other night. You were on station. You fucking suck balls and took Jimmy Dore's time. But
though.
But I'm like, I'm trying to piece this all together in my head and thinking, should I be ducking right now? Is this guy about to wind up and take a swing at me?
This is the thing when some comedian has beef with you, I am not the toughest guy in the world,
Right.
but at one of the
But you could probably take John Roy.
Right, well, no. I feel
When
like
you were at that
I feel like-
burrito festival no holds barred cage match, you beat the shit out of people.
No,
If Jesse Elias steps up, I'll fucking cream him.
no,
oh, that hurts my heart to think about.
no, what
Can you imagine?
What I'm saying is
That's the worst thing I've ever seen.
I'm not the toughest guy in the world, but
Right.
at a comedy club, I feel like I can take everybody. You know what I'm saying? At one
the
of
toughest dude here is Janine Brito.
at the wait.
Because Janine Brito is a bosom friend and family.
I love Janine Brito.
I love
She's
Janine
my
and
Brito.
she
favorite
will
person
kick
in the
the
world.
shit out of any motherfucker in
But-
any room.
Fucking St. Louis
Just,
style.
yeah. Oh no, St. Louis style.
After one of the there was an after hours party from Sketchfest at the rickshaw stop.
Oof.
And so
Which one was that one? Because
it's the one where they were always singing.
was that the last one of 2013 or the?
It was the one
last
from this year.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
year.
No,
Oh,
it
yeah,
wasn't-
that
it wasn't
one-
the
that one. I
last one.
came in, people were doing amyl nitrates. I felt real weird, and I just left.
Well, dude, I was standing over by the bathroom, and suddenly these two guys squared off, and they're gonna fight each other. And so ordinarily,
Just have some amyl nitrates, people.
no,
Stop it.
no. Ordinarily in a bar, you didn't when two guys square off, you do not jump in the middle of it.
Right,
And
you're
for
just
any of our listeners, you let that go, you let it play out.
Exactly.
But I was like, wait a minute, I'm at an after hours comedian party, so I jumped right in.
It's going to be
I'm
hilarious.
I could grab them by the back, the scruff of their neck, and be like, "You guys fucking knock it off!" And I just jumped in
Look
and
here,
pushed
Seth
them
Green,
aside.
leave John Benjamin alone. You're holding them both by their necks.
Oh, I'd love to see that tiny fight.
Yeah. Let's not argue about who stole each other's dick joke.
Let's not talk about who wears a smaller shirt.
All right, so you want to take a break?
Sure, why
Let's
not?
get another drink, and I want to tell a Bridgetown story that's real good.
Okay.
This is nothing but cliffhangers. It's every break is
You know,
there's something
sort
huge
of like
coming.
the medium of comic books.
Oh, wait a
you
minute.
might say.
And,
Full
Is
circle.
this I was gonna say is this a double promotion? You're already promoting the segment after next.
Well, where's the break for the second episode?
All
right.
we'll have to figure that out.
All right, we'll be back after this break from. We hardly even talk about the bar, but I love this bar.
You know what? We talked about it. I mean, it's
Oh, yeah,
Scottish.
it was
Look,
this
you
bar.
can hear this bar.
I love this bar.
All right, this is SFBarkast, and we'll be back at the Edinburgh Castle. And we're back at the Edinburgh Castle. Wait
Geary-
a minute. So I heard that maybe somebody
Geary and Larkin and
Geary
Polk.
and Lochran. Andrew,
Geary and
do you have Andrew, do you have a Pete Holmes Bridgetown story that you have for me?
I don't.
No,
I wish
he
we had a
doesn't.
guest that
He
did.
doesn't.
Oh, wait,
By the way,
let's
are
go
you
around
going-
the
are
room.
Are we using names here, or are you going to bleep this out conveniently so I don't get fucked over for getting booked on this show?
Right,
All
Because
right,
that'd be nice.
all right. So
Because I'd just like to tell the
This
story
week-
without having to go in unnamed.
This week,
host
Game of
a
Thrones
late night
expert
show.
Ivan H. joins us.
all right, okay. So Ivan,
Okay.
you have a Pete Holmes Bridgetown story, and
I'm just gonna tell the story,
it
and
better-
if you bleep the name, great. If you don't, I still don't care because I'm going to describe it as objectively as it happened.
okay, but it's got to be better than my Andy Dick Bridgetown
Oh,
story.
because I've got Andy Dick Bridgetown stories too.
It's not a competition.
Oh man.
Like,
Okay, so
I'm just gonna take a nap.
it's Bridgetown 2012. We're all at the Aladdin Theater for the after party. There's a taco truck outside. All the SF comics are basically standing in a circle outside this taco truck. Pete Holmes comes up to the taco truck and, please bleep this name too. If you don't, I also don't care, but it'll be hurtful to the person in question's feelings. So,
Okay.
Matt Morales goes,
That's
hey,
a great
man,
guy.
Exactly. That's why I would ask you to beat this, because he's a nice guy and I don't want to be hurt.
How do I feel like
Now
that-
they're
none
gonna
of this-
know that it's a nice guy though. If we bleep it, they're gonna be like, "Oh, nice guy." It's probably
Yeah.
Matt Morales.
So, Matt Morales goes to Pete Holmes. Hey man, I hosted your CD recording, and Pete Holmes goes, oh yeah, your voice is on my album, And
Right.
Matt goes, "Oh, I didn't know that." And Pete goes, "Thanks for listening," and throws a full open bag of potato chips at Matt Morales' chest and walks away.
Well, that's terrible.
Pete Holmes kind of sounds like a dickhead.
Here's the thing. I think he's been very nice to me in our interactions. I smoked him out in Miami once at
he,
Bridgetown. I was like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And he was like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" So, me personally, I have not had bad experiences with the man, but objectively, this is what happened in front of my face.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's not nice. That's
And
not how
Matt
you
Morales,
should treat
Matt Morales
fellow
had just
comedians.
like a sad puppy look on his face.
No, but you know why?
can
Because Matt,
imagine.
you know why? Because Matt Morales is actually a decent person
He's
who
a
would
great
never
guy.
do that to somebody.
Yeah,
and
it
so when
was
somebody
it
like
was
acts like a dick
full
to him,
open bag of chips,
when honestly,
like chips strewn about the floor,
Like, if it was a
you're like, are those
a
Cool
full,
Ranch?
if it was like a full like pint of beer or something like that, it might be worse. But
it was
full
a
bag
dry
of chips.
bag of potato chips.
Yeah, like,
and it was like a snack size bag.
Oh, okay, snack.
Yeah.
this is the thing. Like, I mean, I understand. Like, if you're like in the Rolling Stones and you do something like that, that's totally fine. But like, if you're like in the comedy community, like, and you're
well,
like,
this is
you're
sort of
big,
pre-
you're,
here's
and,
the-
wait,
this
and
pre
you're-
having his own
wait,
show too.
It was
which
pre
I
that,
like,
but the only thing I would say in Pete Holmes' defense,
Right.
if you host somebody's CD recording, maybe you should listen to the CD that you hosted.
Yeah, but maybe if
But,
you're
but
Pete
if you don't have the time, or if you just don't,
Right,
hey,
right.
But maybe if you're
Whatever.
Pete Holmes and like you are like a successful comic on your way up, maybe you don't Bigfoot everybody.
Oh, no, and that
you're-
was a definite Bigfooting.
Like you just walked out of like fucking Northern California Sasquatch.
that was a straight up Bigfooting. Because he's a huge dude.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's like 6'5". Yeah.
See, I was gonna tell a story about how when I was in Bridgetown, Andy Dick.
Okay, because Andy Dick, my one problem with the Bridgetown Comedy Festival is that
Is Andy Dick?
every year they will book somebody who is basically a spoiler for the day's events. The 2011 it was Andy Dick. 2012 it was, who was it that was kind of a fucking maniac? There was somebody.
Right.
Every
Bobcat
year.
Goldthwait?
Bobcat's fine.
No.
No,
Like,
Bobcat's a
I
civilized
feel like
person at this
I feel
point.
like you can't compare anybody
Paris
to
Hilton.
Andy Dick. Like Andy
But
Dick.
Andy
is-
Dick went crazy that weekend.
He went crazy
Okay,
that
do you want to hear?
weekend.
Let me hear yours because I've got one too.
Okay, well, basically my Andy Dick story is that like Andy Dick would just showed up and people were like saying like, oh yeah, he's totally clean now. Totally not clean. And then like it was the first time I ever used
Clean like
Twitter.
Anthony Bourdain.
It was the first time I ever used Twitter where it actually like worked, because all you would have to do is be like Andy Dick, search Andy Dick Bridgetown, and then you would see all these tweets where people were just like, oh,
This guy
like,
broke into my house.
Andy Dick just got kicked out of this bar. Andy Dick is like looking for crack. Andy, please, Portland, stop giving Andy Dick like cocaine. Andy Dick went like
Andy Dick is in my 12-year-old daughter's living room or
Andy
bedroom.
Dick
Why?
took off to try to find a crack house. I mean, and also like there was like Amin, or the aforementioned Amin, has a great story about how he was at a hotel bar. And like he was like gonna meet some. It was like Sunday, so like all the shows were basically over. So
Oh yeah, Sunday. I'm not gonna say anything.
So well, anyway, like so he's like there, and like he's gonna meet some people. And he knew what time they're gonna meet him, and so he was gonna start doing mushrooms. So he like took some mushrooms, and was walking out of like the hotel lobby, and then he saw Andy Dick sitting alone in the hotel lobby, and so he was like, oh, kind of like we were just like talking about like Todd Barry and I was like and Gilbert Gottfried. Like he was like, oh, I'll just go over and like start see hey Andy, are you okay? And then like Andy just started talking his ear off, and then like suddenly the mushrooms hit, and like just like, yeah man, I can't stay here anymore. Like you're already crazy, and I'm getting crazy.
My Andy Dick experience, I went backstage to the green room area of one of the theaters, and Andy Dick was there basically like holding court. And there was another comic who I don't remember who it was, but they had a show and they were talking about it, and Andy Dick starts going, how was your show? I want to know how your show went. How did your show go? like in that exact voice.
Right.
And I couldn't tell if he was being sarcastic or not.
That's
how fucked up he was. And he gave me some weed.
Oh,
there
good
was
for him.
there was a story that like Andy Dick got kicked out of a bar in Portland, and like there was
bad enough.
There was this like
Portland is
huge commotion, and like he was standing outside, and like the bartender, the bouncers were like pushing people out and stuff, and like somebody who was trying to get into the bar said, "Oh, what's going on? What happened?" And Andy Dick leaned over and goes, "What happened? Andy Dick happened." And then, of course, he tried to go find some crack.
Oh yeah, that was the weekend that he fell off the wagon.
I don't buy that, man.
Or that he decided to make falling off the wagon more public than it already was.
One of 52 weeks that year that he fell off the wagon.
It's like, oh my God, he was so clean for so long. Andy Dick.
He blasted the whole plane flight without doing heroin.
Yeah, that's the thing with Bridgetown. They always book one person who's like kind of a spoiler maniac, and this year I think it might be Dan Harmon.
Really?
Well, you remember the year he did the Nerdist show and they couldn't release it because he was so drunk at Sketchfest.
I remember
I know that like Dino Stamatopoulos is apparently still like he's one of the world's best like functioning alcoholics.
I actually saw at Bridgetown like a panel, and someone asked like a bunch of comics how much do you drink before you go on stage, and Pete Holmes said, unless your name is Kyle Kinane, you should probably not get drunk before you go on stage.
I do agree with that.
Yeah. So Bridgetown kind of sounds like a place that would be in Game of Thrones.
It absolutely is, and I'm not going to engage in that
segue
into trying to talk about that podcast that I also do with comedian Reg Scott, the podcast which is called Boars, Gore, and Swords, and which is a member of the Boing Boing Podcast Network.
Available on iTunes.
Can you talk about the Game of Thrones thing?
Premiere?
You don't have to talk about your podcast. Can you talk about the Game of Thrones show? Because Andrew does not watch it.
Okay, here's the thing about me and Game of Thrones.
Actually, I've watched I watched the first 5 or 6 episodes, and then the Red Wedding episode, and then the latest season premiere.
By the way, the Red Wedding episode.
So I'm all caught up.
I like to call the Red Wedding episode Nerd 9/11.
Here's the thing about Game of Thrones. And I've said this on the podcast, so the listeners know.
Okay.
I do not have any inbuilt affection for that universe. Like, it's not like Marvel Comics where I'm like, I love the Marvel universe and would love to talk about it at any time with anybody.
Have you actually read the? Have you read the books?
I've read the books up to where the TV show covers them, but I didn't read them before the TV show.
Oh, okay. All right.
The way the podcast came about is Red was like, I want to start doing a podcast, and he asked me. And he was like, do you want to do a Game of Thrones podcast? And if it's popular at all, we'll keep doing it. And then it ended up being popular, so we kept doing it. And I don't have any inbuilt affection for that universe at all. I think it's great.
Sure.
But, like, it's not something where I'm like, Game of Thrones is the best, I want to talk about it all the time.
So,
unless we're on that podcast, I don't want to.
So you're trapped in a hell of your own creation.
So you're
a hell of my own making that pays me extraordinarily well.
So basically you're saying, like, all the people that listen to you hate them.
Fuck everyone. Fuck the fans. Fuck the people who love me. Fuck the haters. Fuck the lovers.
We have very little,
like a bunch of SCA fuckers. I don't care what you're doing.
Listen, if this were the kind of bar where I could throw glass against the wall to punctuate my point emotionally, I'd do that, but it's not.
This does seem like a bar where a bunch of knights might walk in.
I'm going to ask the bartender, how much will it cost for me to be able to throw a glass against the wall?
I like the bartender, so, like, you gotta lay off Segundo.
I think if you were native Scottish, you could probably throw a glass.
I imagine that every Scottish pub, there's just like a designated wall for smashing glasses.
It's like a basketball hoop.
Like, No. It's called the Begbie room.
Right. Actually, like if you get too drunk, you can take the caber off the wall and toss that into the bar.
So I don't have a whole lot to say about Game of Thrones, but I will say one of my biggest criticisms of that show is the first season. The first season, like, they open up and you see what they call a White Walker, like this.
Oh yeah, and you don't see another one of them for like 2.5 seasons, and it's dumb.
Well, it's the thing. Like, you see this like great monster, and
then zombies,
and then you see like a bunch of they're gonna be. You see like these like small like dragon eggs, but like the first scene, you see this like monster, and I'm like, holy shit, this is gonna be great. And then for the next like entire season, the only monster they leave me with is like Peter Dinklage, and like.
Here's the thing about that. They're very slow to get into actual magical stuff because this is my problem with the Marvel movies too. People fear, like studios fear that mainstream audiences won't buy into magic or science fiction when all they want to do is buy into magic and science fiction.
Right.
So
Well,
they will delay appearances of
And like
things.
how slow is
Yeah.
it to get into it if it's the first thing you show on your series?
like,
I mean, like
I-
that. You know, that's.
I don't buy that. I can't see some studio exec going like, you know
Well,
what?
why do you think they haven't done the Doctor Strange movie yet?
Well,
why do you
they're-
think
they're-
they haven't
they're-
done any? Why do you think
Because
the
they're putting all
Superman
their-
movie was so terrible?
No, because
do
they're
you want to
putting-
get into how terrible Man of Steel was? Because I can go for it.
No, because they're
Yeah.
putting all their money into like the Avengers and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, you know, there's no like studio executive over at HBO going like, hey, you know what our like people who watch our show really like? Exposition. Let's have like a season and a half of fucking like people like talking about like their relationship with each other. Oh my god, in the first season, like you see the monster, and then for the next entire like season, you're thinking like, what's the worst thing they're telling us? It's like, oh, the king is in a loveless marriage with his wife. Who gives a fuck? I want dragons and monsters.
Jeff, let's talk about relationships and humans. Jeff, let's talk about real
Dude,
people.
I'll watch.
Look, I'm lifting the ex-girlfriend's ban. I'm not lifting the ex-girlfriend's ban.
Well,
I'll
okay.
watch Dominic and Eugene if I want to see people like
This is
human
the only thing I
relationships.
want to see about Game of Thrones, and then we can like move on to something else if you want. But like the premiere episode of this last Sunday or whatever, I think that like one of the things in the back of my head, and I never even realized this until I watched it, was that like I thought to myself, you know what, I will be on board with this show if someone gets stabbed in the dick, and in the last
Somebody got stabbed.
someone got
straight
stabbed
in the dick.
right in the D.
Oh, here's the thing I love about the show.
That's what I've always said about you. Like,
Yeah.
if it's a dick stabbing, Andrew's on board.
I was like, you know
Everybody
what? Like,
calls you
it all
Andrew Dick
sounds
Stabbing
good.
Lauer.
Ah,
Louder.
Not very nice. How dare my friends?
So yeah, let's talk about humans and people who actually exist. Let's
And
talk about the
stabbing
human
them in the dick.
experience. Guys, when was the first time you loved a woman?
Oh my god.
Listen, that is like a really like jarring segue. We're just talking about Game of Thrones.
Oh no,
and
you're the
now
host.
talking-
You're the host.
Okay,
Do you
but-
want me to talk more about Game of Thrones? Because I don't want to.
I actually I don't either.
Let's move on to another subject.
I went to the Game of Thrones like party at the Armory. Okay.
Oh, shit,
How
we should
was
talk about
that
it.
actually? Did you go into the weird sex rooms?
No, there was no weird sex.
No, there
rooms.
were, but they were
No,
VIP.
they weren't.
They
Oh.
were VIP. They
Really?
were. You had to pay like $250.
Well, my whole take was that I was like,
yeah,
I was,
that's
it's a sex studio.
Have
and
you,
they're,
have
and they're
you
having
been to the sex fights?
no
Sex fights.
Chris Garcia took a photo.
Oh, yeah,
Chris Garcia
yeah.
went to one of them, and it's just two women wrestling each other with strap-ons, and whoever
Whoever, like,
nominally,
loses?
yeah, exactly. Whoever nominally loses has to get fucked with a strap-on by another woman, which like. If you're a woman, I feel like getting fucked with a strap-on by another woman is like a prize.
At the
That
very
might
least.
say a lot about me.
That's like when you're doing like drinking games with alcoholics. It's
Exactly.
like, oh, I lose.
Every move
Now
is a
I'm
win.
hammered.
This is why you got kicked off of the Supreme Court, by the way. Like,
Exactly.
it's like he's
So,
like
yeah.
pretty much.
Straight up sex fights.
Right.
Like that is a crazy fucking place.
I don't want to punish you, so I'm just gonna have another woman fuck you with a dildo.
So should we take a break or should we like
it-
or should we wrap it up?
Let's take like one break and then like
Let's take back at
Edinburgh Castle.
Edinburgh Castle.
Which
I'm a
now
little-
that everything's gotten real quiet.
Oh yeah, keep your voice down, Ivan.
It's
Oh no, because I've been yelling.
It's actually kind of surprising.
I
Like,
No,
have
no, no, no.
been yelling.
like I mean, we're here on a Wednesday, and like I expected it to like sort of pick up like maybe after people started to get off
Well,
work.
Segundo-
yeah, what time
the,
is it?
uh,
It's like past 8.
Yeah,
So
like
good
it's-
to know the bartender was saying that it doesn't really pick up until like 8, at
Really?
least 8.
Huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
All right.
which is weird because like I mean it's a little after 8 right now and
Yeah,
still
yeah.
like not picking up.
This
But,
feels like one of those bars that's like a, hey, we've been at this bar, let's go to this other bar.
Could be.
Yeah, but no, this bar is great because, like, you know, like you said, it's got like all this room here.
Right.
You would think that like people would like be here for like happy hour, but it opens at 5.
Don't they have, do they have like a band space here that like?
Oh, they do in
front?
way in the
Have
back.
you ever tried
Oh, way
to
in
do
the back.
comedy shows?
Yeah,
here?
I've seen comedy here before.
Oh,
I saw.
I feel like this
Kyle
would be a
Kinane
terrible
here.
place for comedy.
Well, you haven't seen it because like it's not where you can see.
'Cause it's the-
It's like it's up
it's the
here
second-
and it's
Oh.
really small.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
it would be a great place. It would be a great place
okay,
for
that actually does feel
it
good.
would be a great place for an open mic comedy like thing
Yeah.
because it's a small like little room up here and it's not you don't have to fight with like the bar
Sound.
patrons.
That's always
okay.
better
Yeah.
because anytime it's a bar show where like
Yeah.
the bar is in the showroom and the showroom is the bar.
was like, I just
always
came here
feel
to
like
drink. Who's that
that's
fucking
that's the
asshole
worst
talking?
possible combination.
Well, then you're fighting because there are some people who didn't go to the bar to see comedy, and then suddenly they have to put up with somebody screaming about their dick.
There was an open mic in Florida that was amazing. It was called the Mental Ward, and it was a terrible place in a terrible part of town. But because the showroom was separate from the bar, it became this like crazy open mic where everybody could like express themselves fully.
Right. I feel like Annie's was like that to a certain extent because like
Yeah,
you had that
Annie's-
sort of like
Annie's was before
just
my
like
time.
forced
Right,
back
yeah.
like.
But
sort
the thing
of,
is, like the great
you know,
thing, and I've
dynamic
said
to
this
it.
before, like the great thing about Annie's is what I'm talking about here, where it's like you don't have to fight with people at the bar.
Right.
They had their own little stage in the back.
Like at the worst, like everybody at the bar like goes like, why is everybody like walking into the back? Like it's like, and like that's all the interaction like that happens.
And then people go back there and go, "Oh, yeah, these assholes," and
Oh,
they walk
jeez.
back to the bar.
like dick jokes.
Yeah.
So, what's your final analysis of this bar, Andrew? Phil Juanu.
I'm sorry. You know what? I love this place, and I always have. Like it's.
This place has your heart.
It does. It feels homey. It feels like it's just got like, it's got like that woody like feel about it that like is honest and like not, manufactured.
Yeah. I'm a fan of
it's-
booths. I'm a big fan of booths.
And
There's
these
a lot
are,
of
like,
booths
wooden
here.
booths
Yeah.
too. They're not even like
I'm a fan of Frank Booth.
well-dressed man disguise.
And so, if you're a well-dressed man, you want to come
Well-dressed
here.
man of the flies.
The well-dressed man who knows where the fuck you're hiding. You can just come down here.
so turn off your fucking radio. Come on down here.
Ivan Hernandez, what do you think of this bar?
Okay, I'm not a bar person. I don't usually drink at all.
You do tonight.
Oh no. When I drink, I drink. I drank.
You did. You drank. You
Oh
drunk.
no. I feel great. In fact,
I
I could go for
came, I
more,
drank.
but it's one of those situations where if anybody offered me any sort of alcohol at all, I'd be like, this is amazing, I love this, even though if I was looking at this objectively, I'd be like, dude, you should have stopped like a drink ago. So, I
Tomorrow
feel
is a
amazing.
wash
Tomorrow's
for
going to
me
be
already.
terrible.
All right.
So, I feel
Just
great.
drink a lot
I
of
like
water
this bar.
tonight.
Oh no, I'm definitely going to. I'm going to I have like half of a pizza at home that I baked myself.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a chorizo, cilantro, mozzarella, and Asiago cheese on a bread dough that I made myself.
Fantastic.
It's
Anybody-
the Jim Leahy no knead dead bread dough.
Anybody in the Northeast is like, what is he talking about?
Do you have like
No.
a pizza stone, or do you
No,
just,
I just
go
have this.
straight like?
I have this huge metal sheet
Oh, okay.
like that I use instead because I need to get a pizza stone, but I have this huge metal sheet that's great.
Or like one of those like $20,000 Italian pizza ovens.
Exactly.
Why not?
So yeah, I feel great about Edinburgh Castle. I wish they had food, but I wish every bar had food.
They have
You know,
fish
honestly,
and chips here. Actually.
They do. Have,
they?
They
They
have
do?
fish and chips here, but I heard that they basically like go out onto.
Oh, they go to the fish and chips place around the corner,
Yeah,
which
I thought, like,
but you know it's really good.
yeah,
it's really good.
I've
yeah.
heard about that.
I thought for a while they were actually like frying them here, like in the back, but like but they actually outsource.
We'll have to do a little bit of investigative journalism into that. Sort of like,
Do they outsource it to like India or something like that? Like bring in the fish and chips.
Outsource it to Polk Street.
So yeah, I like this bar a lot. I came here once and there was a zombie crawl, and that was
See,
real weird.
Seems like that would turn me off right away. I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh,
You know, though,
this is
I-
part of
I-
the zombie
I
crawl.
hate
I'm outta here.
bars when there are other people in them besides me and the people I'm drinking
The
with.
worst, isn't it?
It's terrible. 'Cause
Must be
I'm
hard
I'm a
for
smoke.
you to live on a planet with 7 billion other people.
Let me tell you, I keep saying if 5 billion people died, this would be a perfect planet.
Wow.
If I could just be responsible for the death of 5 billion people, that would be an amazing planet.
You're like,
but
I-
instead,
I could live with that.
exactly. Instead, I'm living here, and I'm trying to make the best of it.
I would say
I want that to be my concluding statement. I wish I could kill 5 billion people, but I can't, so I'm okay with it anyway.
Thanks for coming on the show, Ivan.
thank you for having me, United Nations.
You're welcome, guys. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Andrew.
It smells like sulfur here. You're all devils. Goodbye.
I love this bar. I've always loved this bar, and I honestly feel like this is like a good 1-2 punch that we've had, because last week we did the Mad Dog in the Fog,
Right.
which is like a bar
That's a real intense place.
But it's a bar that's been, we do these bars all the time that are like that have been open for like
6 months or whatever.
6 months or something like that. Mad Dog in the Fog was open when I moved here like 20 years ago, and this bar was like here 20 years ago, and they haven't changed at all.
Classics.
Classics. And Segundo, who is the bartender here, is a real sweetheart.
Despite his goofy name, he is a sweetheart, yes.
But blame that on his parents, okay?
No, I mean, like, he's a super nice guy.
My only criticism of the bar is this internet jukebox. Is a fucking
what a travesty that thing is.
It is the biggest sack of shit.
I can't believe you're going to get the music rights for all of these songs.
It's the biggest sack of shit since like humans have started to like put shit in sacks.
You played B-Boy Bouillabaisse at around 5 p.m., and I think that I heard it like in the last segment. So I mean, we're talking like a.
No, I played Car Thief.
But I heard B-Boy Bouillabaisse.
That was
Car
Thief.
Thief. Okay, I was gonna say like.
And
it seemed like there was about a 3-hour lag time between
the bartender
picks. And
is
this is an empty bar.
The bartender's been
The
like
glasses are off.
The bartender's been super apologetic, and so definitely there's something fucked up about this internet jukebox.
Well, hopefully he'll tell his boss, you know what? You fucked up because you didn't fix the jukebox before the podcast people got here, and now we're ruined.
Wait, did you guys tell these people you were going to record a podcast here?
Yeah.
Okay,
but also,
fair enough.
he told me, he's like, he was telling me he hates the internet jukebox because he works at other bars as well. But he was like saying that, when you own like a bar, like part of like the personality that you lend to it is that you put your own, you get to put your own music in the jukebox.
Oh yeah,
That's
no.
true.
If I was a bartender at a bar, all I would do is inflict my musical choices upon people.
I feel like
People would
I do
straight
the
up
same
be
thing, I
listening
swear.
to Yo La Tango at a
Yeah,
bar.
but you put all your CDs in a jukebox, and then you see, hey, what do you guys got?
Right.
Not this, because on an internet jukebox, you could be like, hey, who likes a 40-minute Dave Matthews solo? And then
Molly Schminke.
right, and then yeah, exactly.
Oh, yo, one of my favorite Molly moments. There was a bartender. There was a comic on stage.
We forgot the theme song. Molly moments. Go ahead.
There was a comic on stage telling a joke about the Dave Matthews Band, and Molly looked at Sal Kalani and just gave a thumbs down, like a Roman emperor.
It's so sad
How
when
pretentious of her.
when
Oh no, I love that. I love Molly.
it's so sad when a woman that attractive, who is the manager of the Punchline, and she's a very beautiful person, but
Right.
she has an unnatural love of the Dave Matthews Band, and it is
It's
really
really put a stain on the whole comedy scene here.
right,
I think.
exactly. That's one of those moments where you look at that person who is very beautiful, and you think, what would I be willing to put up with?
Can't you get into something I like Hitler or
Jesus.
Hitler or Jesus? I don't either one. Probably better than the Dave Matthews Band.
Look, I just
right.
got passed, so I'm on thin ice as it is.
All right, so are you ready to wrap up?
sure?
You
why
guys
not?
done?
I think we're done here.
Oh man. Okay, so
the
let me do my. Can I do my plugs or wait?
We'll have to-
guys. I'm unnaturally slipping into this is my podcast mode. So
No, go right ahead.
Okay.
Ivan, do you have any butt plugs?
Okay.
We're gonna have to put a pin in 20 different subjects to for the next time you come on. So go ahead.
Okay, so you can find me online at Ivan_Hernandez on Twitter, IvanHernandez.net, Facebook.com/Ivan Hernandez. You should come out to my show, Give Me Fiction, the first Sunday of every month at Lost Weekend Video, at GMF Show on Twitter, Give Me Fiction on Facebook. You can check out my podcast, Boys, Gore, and Swords, that I do with Red Scott. You don't have to because we get a huge listenership, so I don't care anyways.
Bragging.
Wow.
Oh, total bragging. Oh, no, I'm at the point in the night where I don't care about bragging at all. I'm going to be insufferable the next, 2 places I go to tonight.
By the way, everybody, I don't need this.
Exactly. So that's where you can find me.
You can find me on BigDick.com.
Find me at PeteHolmesThrowingPotatoChips.com.
Oh, I'm going to register that immediately.
Andrew, do you have anything to plug?
You know what? There's a movie that I saw recently called Europe in 8 Bits about like
I heard about this,
about like sort of like video game music like taking over Europe.
Really?
Like sort of like 8-bit dance music or whatever.
Because let me tell you,
fantastic, really good, like interesting to watch. Like
I
I wouldn't
finally-
have thought so. Like because like I would think it would be like a scene that would be like too dorky and like where it would just be like mouth breathers in like Star Trek uniforms, but it's actually like it's a crazy like young scene in Europe.
sometime last year, I gave $10 to a German video game orchestra
We've all been
soundtrack
there.
Kickstarter, and it just came out, and some of it is really great.
Wow.
So we're in the same boat.
There we go.
basically.
Not to be outdone, I gave some money to a movie called 12 O'Clock Boys, which is a story about like inner city kids in Baltimore who ride their motorcycles through town. And if anybody gets a chance to see it, I'm sure it's online. It's called 12 O'Clock Boys, and it's really good.
Some people give to like hunger and stuff like that, but
No, I mean, dude, what do you want? You want to give to like hunger, or do you want to give to like inner city kids riding motorcycles? I'm sorry.
You make a good point.
Like, we all have our crosses to bear.
No one wants
I
to
don't know
watch
about
a movie about people eating.
that.
It's like, ride a motorcycle. We'll talk.
All right, so we done here? Ivan Hernandez.
Okay,
Thank you.
because I can literally talk about anything for any amount of time, especially at this moment where I am drunk for...
Idle threats will get you nowhere.
Okay, so thanks for coming on. Ivan Hernandez, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I'm Jeff Cleary,
I'm Andrew Louder.
and we'll see you next time on SF Barkast.
See ya!
It's